All right, we're all set. And to start us off this evening, we're going to welcome folks. It is 6:02. And the first item on our public hearing agenda for the November 20th public hearing and regular meeting is the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene presenting on the Diabetes Management Workshop Series. Folks can come up when you're ready. There's a standing mic in front. And the slides will be on the TV on the side. Yep. We have an extra mic if needed.
Yes, do not remove the mic out of the stand. They told me they're gonna kill us. There you go. I was physically told, do not touch that. Am I right?
I won't touch it.
Yes, they're there. If you want me to pick it up, I'll pick it up, but they don't want us to take it out of there.
No, this works fine. Well, thank you so much for having us here, Celeste, Mr. Camacho, Community Board 4. I am Estela Cuetero. I'm the Special Assistant at the Bureau of Brooklyn Neighborhood Health, and I'm here with Tanisha Herrera Pierce, who is a manager of our Diabetes Health Initiative. So today, we do have some slides, so we'll just wait. So for today, we will be doing, I will be presenting a brief overview of the Bureau of Brooklyn Neighborhood Health, which is under the New York City Department of Health. And then I will pass it off to Tanisha, who will be doing an overview of the diabetes initiative, be reviewing the components of the initiative, some early findings, and some early successes of our pilot project or initiative. Next slide, please. And we can go on to the next slide. Thank you. So we are part of the Bureau of Brooklyn Neighborhood Health, which is in the New York City Department of Health. We are a team of 65 brilliant and talented people. Okay, you can pull up all the bullet points. There's a couple there. So we have a diverse array of professionals. We have social workers, doulas, community health workers, and other public health professionals as well. Our catchment area primarily focuses on Central and North Brooklyn, specifically Brownsville, Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, and East New York. However, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the most affected zip codes as well were included, which are the 33 tree neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs in New York City. And our primary areas of focus are maternal health, chronic disease prevention, COVID-19, and behavioral health. So today we'll be focusing on the diabetes portion of our chronic disease portfolio. Next slide, please. And then we are physically located at 3 locations. So we have the Bushwick Health Center, which is just down the block at 335 Central Avenue. We also have our Bedford Health Center, which is at 485 Troop Avenue. And then we also have our Brownsville Action Center at 259 Bristol Street. And I'll pass it off to Tanisha to talk about the diabetes initiative. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Estella. Thank you so much, everyone. I have some notes. Sorry about that. So I just want to start with some background. So initially, we received a lot of funding for our COVID-19 efforts. And after the pandemic subsided a little bit, we were able to shift our funding focus to chronic disease. So despite some of our programming indicators are still indicating that diabetes at NYC has not improved. We are really looking to develop a system that would address chronic disease that has a population level impact. And by doing this, we want to build infrastructure by leveraging and catalyzing the existing resources we have and the lessons that we learned during the pandemic. Next slide, please. Thank you. So here we have the Healthy NYC goals. So during the pandemic, like I said, we noticed New Yorkers were sicker. We noticed that people were dying too soon. Life expectancy fell dramatically in 2020 and following an all-time high in 2019. So our goal is to raise life expectancy to at least 83 years by 2030. We looked at the top drivers of overall deaths and the most extreme inequities in death. Behind each goals are a number of considerations. We're looking at trends over the past several years. Where are people dying in excess? Where are people dying before the age of 65? Although improvements in chronic diseases have contributed to overall gains in life expectancy, chronic disease and cancer continue to rank in the top causes of death among all racial and ethnic groups, and extreme racial disparities remain. By focusing on these areas, we're organizing the health department around top causes of preventable deaths. So once again, examining overall deaths, premature deaths for people under the age of 65, and the stark racial disparities in those death patterns. And so hopefully this will translate to thousands of lives saved each year from any one of these conditions on screen here. And we're hoping to save at least 7,300 fewer people by 2030. Next slide, please. Thank you. So guys, what do we know about diabetes? We know that people with diabetes have a higher risk for severe health complications, such as blindness, kidney failure, heart disease, lower extremity amputations, and strokes. We also know that Bushwick rates of preventable diabetes-related hospitalizations are significantly higher than the rest of the city. So here we have some graphs further detailing the rates of diabetes in Bushwick. Compared to other parts of NYC across poor glycemic control, diagnosis rates, and the rate of hospitalizations across different neighborhoods and across the city. Unfortunately, it's just a bit higher. So we're really just trying to focus on this neighborhood for that reason. Next slide. So to help combat this, the Department of Health created the Brooklyn Diabetes Health Equity Initiative to offer diabetes self-management classes, which are free evidence-based services that can yield similar results to taking medication. The classes can improve A1C by as much as 1% in people with type 2 diabetes. I want to provide some background on the types of classes that we offer. So DSMES, diabetes self-management classes, are a 5-class series led by a registered dietitian. And then the management program, DSMP, is a 6-class series led by 2 community health workers. Both of these classes are equally as effective. The only difference is really just the duration and who's teaching it. But both classes offer a great opportunity for people to learn how to manage their diabetes, both from the instructors and each other. A lot of our community members have found a lot of comfort in learning who their neighbors are, speaking about diabetes and how they are impacted by the disease, tackling it together, sharing recipes, going on walks together. It's been very pleasant to see. And they learn topics such as understanding diabetes, their medication, physical activity, healthy eating, and reducing risk. In addition to the gift of knowledge, we also offer 2 incentives after people attend 5 classes. They can earn a Fitbit, which is like an activity watch, not like an Apple Watch. Sorry, we're not that high tech. But it is it measures your walking, measures your sleep. It's a fun way to go to your doctor and be like, you see, I'm exercising, I'm trying. And then we also give health bucks, which are $2 coupons that can be used for fruits and vegetables at farmers markets across New York City. And then I also wanted to take a moment here to review our success in our Bed-Stuy pilot. During our efforts in Bed-Stuy, we have met 1,349 individuals who were interested to be on our contact list to be contacted about any upcoming classes. We have offered 20 classes since November 2023 with 254 people attending the classes. And the CDC recommends that the normal class size is between 8 to 12 people, so everyone can speak with each other and learn from each other. And our classes on average have been about 11 people each. Next slide, please. Thank you. Oh, you could, all the bullet points, please. Thank you so much. Sorry for the animations. Thank you. So now that you know about our classes, I want to share our goal, and our goal is to decrease the rate of preventable hospitalization due to diabetes in Bushwick by 5% by 2030. So we aim to do this by developing a network of our classes that are consistent, predictable, and accessible to all those who live in Bushwick. And by doing this, we want to ensure that all residents of Bushwick are aware of these classes, know how to take it. If your neighbor, your friend, your aunt tells you, hey, I have diabetes and I'm struggling, you can be like, I just saw a poster at a bodega. Like, you can hit this lady up and you can go to the class, and it's free. Next slide, please. So now that you guys know our goals, I just want to provide some information on how we've begun our work. We know that our communities have always known what they need, so we just wanted to speak with them first before we just come in and provide services. So we have been doing some surveys in early fall. We did it across 6 different locations in Bushwick. You might have seen us. We were at Bushwick High, we were at Maria Hernandez, we were at Washington Irving, and some train stops also. But we were able to speak with 303 community members. 56% of those people were able to conduct the survey in Spanish, and 30% of those people reported having diabetes. More than half of those people who had diabetes had never been recommended or referred to a specialist to speak with anyone about their diabetes. So we do see that there is a community need for this class or this service. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. And then these are just some interesting quotes to me that illustrate how much we have the need. People have loved ones that have diabetes and they don't know how to take care of them. They're taking care of people as home attendants or home care attendants, and they don't know how to take care of them. Or also they know what to do, but they need more support because they know what, like this woman said, she knows what she has to do, but she just doesn't really want to do it. Self-control is hard, and it is nice to just kind of commiserate with people that are in the same boat as you. and learn together. Next slide, please. Wonderful. Oh, yeah, that's it. All right, wonderful. All right, and then we also want to, just speak with existing heavyweights that you guys know in the community, Riseboro, Woodhull, Make the Road, Brooklyn Public Library, Grand State Settlement, or speaking with all these people to have some classes, to offer some classes. We've also been in the community. I made an announcement last month. I've been attending a community board 4 meetings as well as community partnership meetings. And so far through our survey work, we have over 100 people who have been interested in these classes. Next slide, please. Thank you. And one of the ways that we've been working that's been very successful in Bed-Stuy, so we're hoping to replicate it here, is we do this program called Shop Talk, where we go to every bodega, nail salon, barbershop, beauty salon, supermarket, and pharmacy to just build networks with our community members, our business leaders, and leave flyers where people are. So then in this way, this is our map of our targeted thing. We began this week, and so far so good. So we are excited. Next slide, please. All right. In summary, we're really interested and excited to join Bushwick in providing these classes to you guys and learning from you all. We have an upcoming class on Friday, December 6th at Riseboro at 518 Bushwick. And then if you are interested in starting your new year right, we are starting it at the DeKalb Library, January 7th. And then we are still not turning our backs on Bed-Stuy, so we do still have some classes at our health center on January 15th. And then if anyone is interested in learning more about the classes, whether to attend, to host, we left some flyers up front. My contact information as well as Estella's is in the next slide. And we'll be here for a while if anyone wants to speak with us. Thank you so much for everything.
All right, questions from the board? Ms. Spellin?
Hi, Annette Spellin. There's been recent news about the medication that diabetics take that some are using for dieting. Has
Ozempic.
anything been done to correct that? Because I know a few people that are diabetics and they're having problems getting their medicine.
Thank you for bringing that up. During the medication class, that is one of the hottest topics of either people having problems getting it or very interested in getting it and not getting it because they're not really good fits for it. I know efforts have been made to curb it. I think that is why there's different brands now. I think it's like Wegovy and I think a generic brand also to help curb that. And I think doctors are really putting the pressure on how this should just be a diabetic medication, not a weight loss one. And that's why you've seen ads probably for like the injectables for just weight loss, not diabetes. So that way diabetics can still get their medication. Any other questions?
Anyone else? Board members, members of the public? Oh, Mr. Ceballos?
Good evening, everyone. Felix Ceballos, CB4. What you're doing is very important because what I know is diabetes is very, very dangerous. Is if the people don't pay attention, it can going to damage a lot of organ in the body. My question is that kind of service or those support do you bring to the people? Is it going to have limited time, or is going to be for long time for the community? Because I said again, it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Definitely agree. I think people really do underestimate that diabetes is a slow illness that affects organs little by little. So to answer your question, we will at least be here for the next couple of years because diabetes, as you know, is not going anywhere. And these programs are evidence-based in their success. We want to limit people from dying too early. We want to limit people from getting sick and not being able to do what they want to do. We want people to think of things like lower extremity amputations as a thing of the past and to really understand their illness, how to manage it, and how to live their best life. No problem. Thank you.
All right, Stephanie? Yep.
Hello, Stephanie Anderson, CB4. Thank you so much for your presentation, both of you. I wanted to know, isn't it true that diabetes can be handled and even the symptoms of it can be lessened just by diet and exercise? I mean, not the one where you had to take the needle, but
Right. Gonna preface this by saying, I'm just speak directly into the mic, but I want to look at you as well. I want to preface this by saying first, anyone should make I can't make any blanket recommendation. You should always speak with your doctor. But diet and exercise help so much. And it's what they say, what is it? Like a pound of cure is worth an ounce, or that whole thing. Like, I forget the idiom, I'm so sorry, but it's very, very much something that can help a lot, especially when you're counting your macros of like your carbs. You should be watching your starches and things, but it's not like you can reduce diabetes forever. You can be in remission though and possibly be like off insulin. Yes, yeah, similar to, this is an extreme example. How like HIV, you could have 0 viral count, but you are not cured, you're just at 0 viral count, you know what I mean? You always have to take your medication, you will always have to watch your sugar, but it won't be as drastic. And most importantly, you won't be like in the hospital or sick, or hopefully not insulin dependent. No problem. Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
All right, and there was a question about the location.
Yes, thank you. So like Estella said, we're still working on the Bushwick office, but we are at 485 Throop. But the class will be at Riseboro. The first class that's coming up in December will be at 518 Bushwick Avenue. And I'll bring you a flyer, sir. I see you writing.
All right. I see another hand.
Hi,
Wait for the mic. Wait for the mic.
People can't hear you.
I got you, Monique.
We want
I'm
to
ready
hear
for
you.
you.
You talk loud. We know you talk loud, but we want to really hear you. Yes, you can.
Right.
Yo, go ahead. Go ahead.
Have you guys considered giving these classes like on the evening or on weekends?
Yes, so
That's a good answer.
that is a great question. So we have been looking into evening classes, and we do offer an online class in the evenings, but sometimes unfortunately it's based on the host site limitations. Like, for example, if I was looking to host at a school and if they don't have security open till 8, we can't exceed 8, but we are looking at that because we know, especially the working crowd, individuals that are caregivers do need those hours. We are definitely considering that. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Barbara. Ms. Barbara leads a very busy life, so she told me later that she stopped going because she had a busy social calendar, not because she didn't like the class.
Hi, I'm Nate Benzimra. I'm not sure if you answered this already, but for the class, I guess what time is it provided?
No problem. The next 2 classes are in the early afternoon at 1 p.m. So to Monique's point, we are considering
Okay.
evening classes.
I guess I was wondering, is there a way to like record it and then provide it online for people who can actually, be available during those times?
So right now we do offer an online class, but the big focus of this class is interactive portion.
makes
So I definitely understand the slides aren't as as efficient as like the learning that you will do from real-time questions that you will have with your instructor, but also learning from your peers. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
but I do appreciate that.
Why are you giving me the? Oh. She mentioned.
All right.
She mentioned you.
So it doesn't look like there are any more questions. Last call. Oh, on Zoom, do we have anyone? Okay, no one on Zoom. So any last comments from Department of Health? Yeah. Otherwise, we thank you for being here. We appreciate the information and we'll certainly follow up.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Celeste. Thank you, everyone.
All right, we will move on with our agenda. Just want to check to see our folks. Is everyone here from the fund for the City of New York and from the Sloan Award? Are you still waiting or? Okay, we'll move with the public hearing agenda. Do we have Brooklyn Public Library? Do we have everyone on? Okay, or here in person. Yay! All right, welcome.
Ashwini online is going to share the presentation too.
Okay, perfect.
But thank you all for having us tonight. I'm Mike Fiani. I work in community engagement at Brooklyn Public Library. And let me introduce my colleague, Ms. Juanita James.
Hi, everybody.
Branch Manager, Washington Irving Library, and Philip Jenkins, who runs capital projects for some capital projects at Brooklyn Public Library, including the one that we're going to be doing at Washington Irving. Awesome. So there's the branch as you as it is today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project goals. Then the architect is going to talk a little bit about how they're going to accomplish those goals. And then Juanita and I are going to talk a little bit about some of the services that we'll provide when the library does need to close for construction. But yeah, so this is a big project. It's an almost $10 million project. It's being paid for by City Capital. And a significant amount is coming from the proceeds from the redevelopment of Brooklyn Heights Library, which was a project that netted about $50 million overall that the Brooklyn Public Library has been using around the borough. So this one's kind of exciting because we get to do a lot of infrastructure upgrades at the same time. We don't normally get to make all these improvements at once. Sometimes we have to make them, and then we open for a few years, then we close again to make more. So we're going to replace the roof with an in-kind new slate roof that's going to look exactly the same. We're going to replace it with a new heating and cooling system, and that'll be integrated into a building management system. We're going to replace the fire and safety systems, and that will also include a new security system. In terms of interior improvements, we're going to update the lighting on the first floor and in the community room, and we're going to make ADA upgrades to the lower level bathrooms. And then in terms of exterior improvements, we're going to rebuild the front stairs and railings. They currently are not in line with building code regulations, so they're going to redo them. And you'll see, as opposed to there being these kind of turnoffs, it's going to be a kind of grand entrance to the library. We're going to restore the historic masonry and stonework. The library is just over 100 years old, so it'll restore all of that. We're going to adjust the exterior fences where appropriate to better welcome in the community. And we're going to make some upgrades to the exterior signage. We're going to put some colorful banners around the library and some other things to make it look nice. So, did I miss anything?
Sounds good.
All right, I'll turn it over to you, Ashwani.
Thank you, Mike. Can everybody hear me well? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you for the introduction to the project. This aerial view highlights the Washington Irving Branch Library, which is located in the Bushwick neighborhood of Brooklyn at the intersection of Woodbine and Irving Avenue, as you can see. The building constructed in 1923 features brick masonry walls and a slate roof. It is a single-story structure with a mezzanine and a basement, each accessed via.
So we can, excuse me, we can hear you, but it's a little unclear, so we can't make out the information. Is it possible to?
Yes, can you hear me better?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Sorry, I think I was having my headset upside down. Sorry about that. Okay. Continuing, the building was constructed in 1923 and features brick masonry walls and a slate roof. It is a single-story structure with mezzanine and a basement, each accessed via separate entrances. The front steps leading to the reading room on the first floor, while the adjacent ADA ramp provides access to the basement level. If you go to the next slide, we are showcasing some photographs of the current conditions of the site, emphasizing the separation and the design intent of the project. Both of these views are from the intersection of the streets, and the view on the right is of the main entrance at present. If you go to the next slide, please. This, or the right image, shows the ramp that leads to the basement. Moving ahead into next slide, this is our site plan that outlines our proposed design reconfiguration. We've designed a unified entrance that adheres to the building's original character, creating a single access point to the first floor reading room and an accessible ramp leading to the basement. In addition to reconfiguring the entrances, we've also proposed replacing the existing fence with a lower height design, upgrading the entire HVAC system for better efficiency, and performing the slate roof replacement in kind, as Mike mentioned in his introduction. Can you go to the next one? This slide compares the existing conditions with the proposed redesign. On the bottom, as you can see, the revised plan shows an enhanced entry sequence, offering improved access to both levels of the building and streamlining circulation. Can you go to the next? The next two slides are going to be the illustrated version of the proposed elevations. This is the front elevation from the Irving Avenue that shows a new lower height fence, which is 3 feet high, while maintaining the existing taller fence in the background, which currently is 5'6", as you can see denoted on the left side, and updated signage for the library, which has been approved for implementation. The next elevation on the slide is also shows the extent of the fence replacement, showing the new lower fence on the right while retaining the existing fence towards the left. You can again see the signages that has been incorporated, complementing the refined entry design. Can you go to the next one? We have few renderings that demonstrate the proposed updates. We have also proposed illuminated guardrails leading to both the main entrance and the accessible ramp to the community room. These features, as per us, enhance safety and create a more welcoming and inclusive experience for the library patrons. If you go to the next one, is another view which you can see with all the proposed design incorporated. And that concludes the design portion of the presentation. I'll hand over to Mike again, who will discuss the schedule and programming in more detail.
Yeah, and so we focused on the presentation on the exterior because that's what we're coming to the community board for hopefully a letter of support on. But there is some interior components to the project too, as we discussed, including lighting, fire and safety, and the HVAC project, which will, really the heating and cooling project, which will really be a massive project. But we're hoping to finish design overall on all the parts of this project by next summer. And then we're hoping to start construction the summer after that. So we're looking at summer 2026 before this project gets underway. And this is about a 2.5-year project. So during that time, we would like to come and meet with you all to discuss where we should be providing library services. The staff will be doing outreach around the neighborhood. We have yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, I've seen some of you at Washington, on Washington Irving. So we do have a bookmobile. So probably we'll have the bookmobile in front of the building to continue the services. Programming, if anybody have any ideas, maybe we could do a special story time somewhere. I'm welcome to do community collaborations with anybody, so we can start and continue that. It's a process, and hopefully we all can get together and enjoy this great new building that we're going to get.
Yeah. I think that concludes our presentation for you. Do we skip in? All right.
All right, questions? All right, we have one here, one here.
Hi, Jason Gers, CB4. It's a little hard to see the pictures from the side of the room, but are you then going to be removing that short brick fence that's in front of the stairs? That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah, so the entrance right now is kind of like L-shaped.
Yeah,
So the brick wall would come down and it would be kind of a straight, kind of grand.
that's more welcoming, I
Yeah.
think. I like that.
Can you make the point about both the ADA users and the?
Sure, yeah. So currently the building actually has two entrances, one for an ADA entrance that accesses the ramp and another entrance where you can ascend the stairs and go to the main reading room. I think one really neat point that the architects were able to design in in rebuilding that front stair is to really make one entrance for everyone. So there's no ramp entrance, there's no stair entrance, it's just one entrance.
Okay, that's great. Just the other question is, I know you have like kind of a raised planting bed, but a lot of what's left there is grass, and it looks like grass on the rendering. I don't know if there's opportunity to put flower beds or more, native plants beyond grass. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's part of like a program that we launched during the pandemic to like do more outdoor programming, and I think it's been really successful. So I think we'd like to do more of that.
So,
Please wait
We
for them. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
okay, we have a garden already kind of out front, the Friends group. So if you're really interested in the garden, join our Friends group and then indicate that, and then maybe you could work with the Friends group to keep the garden up. So that's one good way to keep it up, okay? Not a problem.
Hi there, Zachary Hendrickson. Wow, that was loud. CB4 member. I'm really excited that these renovations are going to be happening. Seems like really fantastic work. My question is about programming. In addition to obviously like book services, I know whenever I'm at Washington Irving, there are a lot of young people who seem to use like the computers and use the space for like study space. And I'm just curious if you're in conversations or if there are plans to sort of engage local schools to think about what other spaces young folks could use, because that just seems like being right there next to the school, it just seems like such a critical part of what you offer the community.
Something that we have to work on, because of course the library will be, I'm sorry, I'm talking. Sorry. Of course, the library will be closed, but if we have a collaboration, maybe we could do like a program and a collaboration with the community to have an open space for kids to go to do their homework. So everything is possible. Nothing's off the table. Everything is possible.
And one of the neat things that we have in addition to the bookmobiles that Juanita mentioned is we have a tech mobile, which is like comes with laptops and is and so we could potentially, like if there's special events in the neighborhood or something like that, that we could maybe bring that and highlight some of our resources. And some of our stuff can be done online. Like the library has a tutoring service for kids of all ages, of students of all ages, that can be accessed via just like a library card in the library website. And they could be connected directly to like a real person on the other end to like walk them through specific homework problems that they might have. So there might be other ways too that we can like that we like help promote some of the resources that are available. Yeah, from like a phone, for instance.
Hi, so Karina Dodge, CB member. I had a question about the ramp. Was it shown in the rendering here, or is that like forthcoming? Like,
Oh, it's not like the entrance to the library, the ramp is going to stay kind of where it is. So it will be two doors into the library, but both users will enter through that same gate.
Okay, all right, I'm just curious about that.
Yes, so the ramp is existing. Yeah, it's.
Okay. Hi, Nathan Zimmer again. I live down the street from the library, so I'm very happy about this. One thing I noticed was that my partner actually volunteers for a group that kind of supports the library. And I think that keeps coming up is there's no water fountain in the library. And like we do a lot of like support programs for kids, like we give them lunches in the summer and, we're giving them food, but there's no water for them to drink. And like we're talking about like tutoring kids, but again, like how can they stay there if they can't drink water? Feels like I don't know, I guess I didn't, unless I may have missed it, but I didn't notice that in the list of things that were being provided. And is there a way we can add that? Because it feels like a pretty essential thing that's missing right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not part of the project, but it would be good if we can figure out a way to afford it.
That's the answer, basically. Yeah, so it's not part of this project, but yeah, it seems like a hurdle that is not insurmountable.
Okay, yeah. Is there a way we can, is there an actionable thing we can do to make that like happen, like in reality, like I love that it's it's possible, but is there a way to make it happen?
So like the DDC project scope is set. It gets like with like change orders and things like that can drastically increase the project, but BPL has a good track record of like doing little work with like our own contractors afterwards. So I think we'd have to look and see whether or not, I mean, it's still a few years. It would be like a budget that's still several years away from including, but I think we could talk to our, people and see and try to make it happen.
Okay.
Hi,
Thank you.
Mike. I would like to respond to that. We, as part of the interior upgrades, we are providing 2 water fountains inside. So, yeah.
There you go. Oh. You're gonna want to. Okay, too.
Felix Ceballos, CB4, an architect in beautiful proposal. In the same time, we're talking about $50 million. And also, we're talking about 100 years old. What is the condition for the building physical? I mean, for the physical and the building. And also, I want to know how long take the whole renovation? Thank you.
I think I maybe misspoke, but the project is a $9.5 million project. The $50 million is the total amount that BPL raised from the Brooklyn Heights redevelopment that we've been spreading around the borough in several different projects. But in terms of the condition of the building, I know this is going to affect, like, with the heating and cooling systems, we open up all the walls and so all of those are, will be impacted and improved. I don't know, Ashwini or Philip.
Yeah, there's actually, there's more scope that's more technical that we didn't mention. One of those is one thing, the building is experiencing water infiltration from the cellar level, which is a real problem. It's coming in through, there are like these recessed stairwells in the back, and also along the side where there's grass. There's water coming in. So one thing that we're doing is removing the earth and waterproofing the entire outside of the building with waterproofing membrane, and putting the earth back. So that's kind of will improve the bones of the building. In my opinion, I think the bones are actually in pretty good shape. Another thing that we're doing is adding with the roof, as Mike mentioned, we're putting a slate roof on, replacing in kind. It's slate, it's meant to last. So that's a pretty robust roofing system. We're happy about that. I wanted to mention also that we are adding insulation like to the ceiling to improve just heat loss and that kind of stuff. Just more specifically, were you asking about like just the general condition of the building? Is it going to last another 100 years? We hope so. As Mike mentioned, it's unfortunate that it's not too often that we get to do this with our public infrastructure and our public buildings. So, $10 million is a fair amount of money, and we're trying to do as much as we can so that it can last another 100 years. I don't know if that answers your question, but happy to follow up more.
For how long are going to be the whole renovation?
We'll likely start construction in 2 years. So we have to finish design, and then there's a year of procurement. And construction period is about 2.5 years is what we're thinking.
I have one here.
Yeah, this is Joe from Friends of Irving Square Park. I also hang out with the library people as well. So that I wanted to confirm the library itself would be closed for 2.5 years during construction, right? It's kind of 2.5 years from now, and then closure of 2.5 years. So, okay, that's important to know. Is the water fountain issue, this question is kind of for Councilwoman Nurse. Is the water fountain issue something that could be addressed through a participatory budgeting ask? I'm going to add it to the idea map then.
Sorry, we misspoke. We didn't realize, but we are getting 2 water fountains, I think Ashwini said, as part of this project.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that. Checked out for a sec. Okay. And then the other question is about the height of the fencing in the front. Is that being changed at all as part of this proposal?
Yeah, it is. So right now there's there's a 6-foot fence. You can see it in the photos. It's kind of like a spiked 6-foot high fence, but because of the sidewalk elevation changes, like it slopes as it goes around the building, can be anywhere from like 6 foot to maybe even like 7 or 8 feet. So the portion in the front of the library, we're taking the fence down to 3 feet just to make the property more welcoming. And then in addition to that welcoming nature, we're also removing the window guards. Right now, they're like steel window guards that are on windows.
I know the committee, I know the word that you said was welcoming. The fence was put there many, many years ago, not to welcome. I don't know what that means. But the reason why it was there was because people were jumping over, were tagging. So now you're gonna put this. And guess what's gonna happen? I got a pit bull, Joe. Jump over the fence. Come back out. Tag. Then you're gonna come back to this community board and says, well, we need money to fix and paint. We have a problem in Bushwick Park, which is right around the corner. There's 3 schools in there, 4 schools in Bushwick. I don't know how you're gonna control that. I know this board requested not to lower the fence. You're gonna take the concrete slabs in the bottom, you're gonna put a little piece of slab, and then you're gonna put the 4-foot fence. I'm drinking my Coke 45 or my beer. We see it in Hope Garden. You see those little fences they put? Now the dog's in there and the people can't open the window. Why? Because there's feces. The employees don't get paid to pick that up. Unless your employee does, then that's something different. That keeps the grass green, but it doesn't help. So we requested that the fence not be lowered. So in the front, if you see the picture, they're gonna have the big fence, but in the side, they're gonna have a 4-foot fence. Welcoming. Sometimes when people welcome, it takes away the people that have been here and been fighting a long time. And that's kind of disheartening to us. I'm saying it because I feel that way. And we all should be feeling that way when someone says, I'm making something welcoming. So it wasn't welcome there now? So we have to think about that. And we put in our proposal not to lower that fence because of issues and concern. There's schools there. To lower that fence like that is really bad because we're having that in Hope Garden now. This development now is welcoming. So they're taking the fences out and guess what's there? They're bringing the bikes and throw it in the lawn. The cars are going in the lawn and they're fixing. So it's gonna be welcome to the wrong people.
I think just the only comment to that would just be to say, we spoke about this offline too, but that the library will put a power washer on site and train our custodian in how to use it. So should that become an issue, we won't have to wait for resources to come from outside the branch. We should be able to handle them in some cases. I know that doesn't answer all of your concerns, obviously, but at least one of them, that's something we think we can do.
I understand that, but when you don't get cut or you get a new man, you get cut, then you're gonna tell us we can't do it, then we wind up with graffiti. So be careful what you wish for.
Joanna, CB4. My concern is we have a pandemic with opium and drug addiction, and that's my concern. They're gonna find a new spot to shoot up or do all kinds of drugs. So.
Yeah, I just to note that it's there's like a square of grass that's on the corner. That fence is going to be the lowest fence, but the fences in the rear are still going to be high. And from our perspective, it's about like letting people see the entrance of the building. So it's just the fence that's like right on the entrance. That the lowest fence is the one it's going to be like a little it's that square that's on the corner is the lowest. I think there's even a higher fence that kind of prevents people from going into the back area there.
Just like to know if perhaps you guys live in the area?
I don't know if you guys live in the area. Reason why I'm asking, because I actually live between two churches in the area. And the people in the church, just an example, don't live in the area. So everything that happens at church, are the ones that suffer and know what's happening and jump to help and everything in the area, but they don't live there. So it's a difference if you don't live there or you do. I am sorry, my Cecilia.
I think we all live in Brooklyn. I live in Crown Heights, but yeah, some of the staff I think live in the neighborhood. I live in East. But yeah.
All right, I don't see any other hands. Anything on Zoom? I don't see anyone. Okay, we thank you. Oh, actually, I had a few questions. I almost forgot. So I had one question. Is this considered a Lindsay Box library?
No, this is considered a Carnegie library.
Oh, good to know. Okay, there are different types of libraries, design standards, yeah. And then I also had a question for folks that like to request books from the library. I imagine that feature just won't be available, but will it give them more than just not the option to select it? Like how will folks that just request books know that the library is no longer providing that service?
So it'll when you choose the location that you would like to pick up your books from, it'll be grayed out and it'll say, like sometimes it says until when, or sometimes just grayed out. And then if you go to the website, there will be more information about other options. Yeah, I mean, it's a personal project of mine to figure out a way to like bring holds to a neighborhood when a library is closed, but it's it involves a lot of logistics that we've just not been able to tackle yet. But I think, like, I'm hoping that we can get there.
Thank you. Those are my questions. And I believe that's it for this evening. So we thank you, Brooklyn Public Library team.
Sorry, I had one question.
Fran?
Sorry, I just wanted to see if I missed this part on the Zoom. Apologies if you already answered. Is the elevator modernization included in this request? I mean,
No,
in
to my
the
knowledge,
renovation?
no, it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Now we will move on. Is everyone here from the Fund for the City of New York? All right.
Yes, come in front.
Good evening, Brooklyn Community Board 4, Bushwick. My name is Aljan Rafael Bonilla. I'm with the Fund for the City of New York. And we're here to interrupt tonight's meeting just for a little happy moment to recognize one of Bushwick and Community Board 4's own, Celestina Leon, who's a 2024 Sloan Public Service Award winner. Now, this is a program and a tradition that goes back to 1973. So just to give you a little bit more context, I want to introduce the president of the Fund for the City of New York, Brooklyn's own as well, Dr. Lisette Nieves, and then followed by the chair of the selection panel to give you a little bit more reasoning for this honor. And then we'll take it from there. So next, Dr. Lisette Nieves, president of the Fund for the City of New York.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Celestina, today's about you. Congratulations. But I want to just say a little bit about the fund and why I'm also excited to be here. I was actually born in Wyckoff Heights Hospital, lived over here for many years, and I'm the proud granddaughter of Moncho and Chaguita Nieves, if any of you knew them. And I say that because they had a cuchifrito stand for like 20 years. And so coming here is really powerful for me to be here because I love feeling this kind of experience of community. It means a lot as a Brooklyn Boricua, but also what's important is that you're debating the real issues, right? What is an aesthetic of a library versus what is safety and protection for a neighborhood and when they collide at times, right? This is why it's so important to have voice and feedback. Well, let me just say something real quick because I want to make sure it's all about you. So I'm just going to give you context. Since 1973, the Fund for the City of New York has been celebrating public servants, right? No matter what anyone wants to say, there are people like Celestina who have been doing the work behind the scenes to make sure that we are visible, we are seen, we get the things we need, like fresh water, right? Think about that, right? You're one of the few. There are other parts of the country right now, their community board agendas are what? Water purification. That's not what this one is. That says something, right? The other thing I want to say about the awards that are important is that the agencies employ more than 10,000 New Yorkers when we think about it, right? Just certain agencies. If it's the New York City Conflict of Interest Board, any of the others, we have a variety of organizations, or as we say, city agencies that we've supported in the past. I can go on, and I'm not. What I will end in saying is that what makes New York great is that we have both New Yorkers who make sure we get what we deserve, but also that we have employees in the city who want to make sure that we're responsive to New Yorkers as well. And that combination is critical. And tonight, this is what we get to celebrate with you. So on behalf of the fund, what an honor to be here. Happy to be back in an old neighborhood. And let's keep the celebration going. And I'm going to turn it over to our board member who heads the award ceremonies. I should say this too. None of the Fund for the City of New York staff votes on this. As much as I wanted to see the neighborhood represented, I don't get to vote on it. And I say that because we had an esteemed group of people from around New York who volunteered to do this work and read through all the nominations. And so you had a lot of stiff competition, but it was clear you were meant to be the one selected this year. With that said, I want to introduce a vice president from Children's Aid Society, and she is a wonderful advocate on our board. One of the people that matters to me personally, but also professionally, has built housing for people who are struggling with addiction, as well as struggling with mental health issues. She has probably one of the longest resumes of being committed. She's also a fellow Brooklynite. Georgia Booth, come on up.
Thank you, everybody, for having us here this evening. As Lisette mentioned, I'm a neighbor. I live in Clinton Hill, which is not that far from here. And I am just incredibly proud to be here and to have this opportunity to honor you and so many unsung heroes who behind the scenes make New York City work for all of us as citizens and residents. It's like, this is like one of my favorite things to do. And I tell Lisette, I've been doing it, I think, since 2010. And as long as she will allow me to do it, I will continue to do it because I learned so much about the people behind the scenes who make our city the amazing place that it is. But just so you guys understand, I'm going to read a little bit so you understand why we chose Celestina. I know you all know her so much better than we do on a day-to-day basis, but I was so impressed by her story, her commitment, her hard work for this community. So I just want to read a little bit of like, you know, the kind of the deliberation that went into her. So again, it's my privilege and honor to be here to really honor you as a trailblazer and a visionary. Your tenacity and unwavering dedication have redefined what it means to lead from within our neighborhoods and to reinvigorate civic engagement to include all of our residents, all of our constituents. As a recipient of this award, the Sloan Public Service Award, Celestina, we're just incredibly proud of what you've been able to accomplish here in Bushwick and across all of New York City. When the selection committee was reviewing all the nominees, you stood out. I'm getting like just chills thinking about it now, because I remember reading your story, your roots in this neighborhood, which is long and vast. But you stood out because not only do you have an impeccable track record of supporting this community, but you have this unique ability to blend your smarts, intellectual acumen with a profound emotional connection to this community. And, you know, as district manager of Community Board 4, you have proven time and time again that true leadership is about more than just managing, right? It's about empowering, uniting, inspiring people to make things better. When you first stepped into your role, you faced a lot of skepticism, including from your former board chair, Robert Camacho, our current board chair, sorry. He recalls thinking you may not understand the challenges of the Bushwick community. He described Bushwick as a rice and beans kind of community, and he was worried that you were going to be coming in with your kale and Starbucks sensibility. And, you know, but you soon proved him wrong. It didn't take long for him to realize how wrong his assumption was, that you not only understood the community, but you were ready and willing to work hard by researching the most pressing issues like zoning, affordable housing, gentrification, and jobs. And what's more, Chairman Camacho said, Celeste doesn't just understand Bushwick in her head. She understands Bushwick in her heart. And that heart comes from your deep ties to the community, including your family's roots here in Bushwick. But your effectiveness stems from your exceptional skill as a collaborator and a strategist. That was so clear reading about all the work that you did. While others see obstacles and challenges, you saw opportunities to bring people together. When the de Blasio administration rejected the Bushwick Community Plan, an ambitious blueprint to ensure affordable housing, historic preservation, and sustainable development, you didn't give up. You didn't say, that's it. Instead, you pivoted, finding new ways to rally grassroots power from the community and to continue pursuing the goals of the plan. Under your leadership, this community board became a model for community boards across the city in terms of your community engagement, even during and especially during the pandemic. As many other boards were struggling to maintain connection, you very quickly pivoted again to adapt and acted swiftly to make sure that the community would be able to participate in these meetings and to learn about what was happening, keeping your pulse on what's going on. Through newsletters and surveys and tireless outreach, you ensured that the board remained a vital connector to the community. Your efforts haven't just been here in Bushwick, for those of you who may not know. Celestina's belief in the power of collaboration is extended to the city of New York, where she co-chaired a task force that brought together representatives from all 59 community boards, producing a groundbreaking report, Future of New York City's Community Boards. That report called for more training, resources, and support, reminding us of the board's critical role as the city's grassroots voice. Your accomplishments are evident in your ability to advocate for historic preservation and transportation improvements, playing your part in making Linden Street the first historic district and Broadway Junction helping to secure $500 million for that project. That will generate thousands of jobs and revitalize this vital transportation hub. You embody the resilience and commitment And one of your peers spoke to that by saying, when setbacks happen, Celeste doesn't stop, she leans in. You have done this tirelessly for Bushwick and has become a mentor and role model for leaders citywide. Your work, along with you all, have made this community stronger, more vibrant, and more connected. And in doing so, you've shown us what's possible when mission meets purpose. So thank you so much for your commitment, your dedication, and for making this community what it is today.
Thank you. So before we turn it to Chair Camacho, I just want to say that you all have a beautiful commemorative brochure that shows you exactly in full transparency the 2024 Sloan Public Service winners, the 315 prior winners, of which only 2 have been district managers. In 1999, Brooklyn Community Board 2, Tessie Williams was the honoree. And in 2024, your very own Celestina Leon is a winner. It tells you who the selection panel is. It gives you insights of how to nominate. And then it gives you all the names and the positions of in the last 53 years of all the other 315 winners. Now, as part of the prize as well, which was made possible with our partnership with the Sloan Foundation, and we're joined by Josh Greenberg from the Sloan Foundation. Part of this is we want good news to travel, right? We want good news to travel. So today, over 10 newspapers are featuring you in their newspapers in terms of being a winner. As well as, in addition to 10 newspapers honoring you, there are over 200 New York City kiosks featuring you throughout New York City streets in terms of the prize. You have the commemorative brochure. We also have a commemorative highlight reel that we'll show after your chair speaks and the speaker. And then tomorrow night at the New York Historical Society, over 300 neighbors, residents, families, and friends and colleagues will be joining us at the New York Historical Society for the second part of the prize, which let me tell you, you don't want to miss because it involves really huge, kind of, things, So you don't want to miss that one. But without further ado, I want to turn it over to your chair for some words, and then I think there's someone else, and then we want to show a commemorative highlight reel from the Sloan Foundation honoring this moment.
I'm going to tell you something about Celeste, and this is the truth. I'm always fighting for Bushwick. Always, always, always. And I have this thing that if we don't fight some certain way, that we're not going to get our point across. I'm always yelling and carrying on. And so she says, we don't do that here. I says, all right, so what are we going to do? We need to make things happen. We need to stop talking. We really do need to stop talking. We need to stop talking and stop doing things and making sure that everyone hears what we're saying and everybody believes in what we're saying. So every time I see a Celeste, she tells me what we're going to do. Let's make it happen. When I first met Celeste, it's true, I did say that. I don't know where y'all got that quote for. I got to find out where y'all got that. I know where y'all got that from. But then I saw this gentleman in the back that I knew when he was a little kid. So I said, he comes up to me and says, hey, I said, what you doing here? And he says, my daughter works here. Your daughter? Who's your daughter? I said, you gotta be kidding me. Celeste is your daughter? And she says, yeah. And then she tells me her uncle is Pops. I said, your uncle, the mechanic, is Pops? Now I got the mother that I know, the family. I got the father. I know her first grandmother. She passed away. So that's how long. I didn't know who she was. I didn't even know he had a kid. But he took her out to study. She was in Bushwick and she left to study and came back to Bushwick and gave us our study. And that's the thing. You can leave the hood or come back to the hood and help the hood. And that's what she did. And I want to thank her. I love her to death. But I also want to share something that's very important, very important. And we all, even on Zoom. This is our intro, 1065. Every community board is different. Every council person is different. Every community wants everything different. There was one council person, and I'm still fighting this because I don't want it to be pushed to the side. And we all need to know. That's why I'm glad my council person is here, because when they want to make laws, we need them to come over here and help us to make laws and let us understand what is it that she wants to change, because we may not want that change. Each community is different, right? Everyone loves police. Some districts don't love them. Some people love firemen. Some areas don't like. So everybody's different. So everybody has to be painted with a different brush, not with the same brush. So just to be aware, this is a new law that they wanted to put into the city charter in regards to each community board. I bring it with me because this is what's going to happen when we change. I'm going to be turned out in 2 years. I'll be 38 years on this board. I was 21, almost 21 years old. I'm going to be 64. All right? It says, this is the referendum. A district manager shall serve a term of 4 years, meaning they want to term district managers out. Y'all laughing, right? Yeah. So guess who? When you change, who they going to turn out? The district manager that came here, more her family born and raised, and they're going to term her out. They want to term her out. All right? Every 4 years, that the first year shall run consecutive the date of the local law that add this sentence until December 31st, the 4 full calendar year, meaning that in order for her to get reappointed, the community board would have to appoint her, or the borough president would have to appoint her. We a city agency. We don't get nobody appointed. We get appointed by the council, by the borough president. So I think that's a conflict of interest myself. So how are you terming someone that we have a chance to vote who we want and taking her out because you don't want and you don't agree? And city council has the right to either appoint or don't appoint us. So why are you making term limits? So you got 3 bites of the apple. So what I'm telling you is here, we need to fight this council person. And I said it in borough board that all the community boards are with me. We need to have that council person here saying, why did she put this here? If she has issue in her own community, take care of your own business over here, not here. We know how to take care of our own. And that's what we need. We work with our council person. We work with our borough president. He was ours. Our borough president was our council person. So we know him better than we do. So if you want to make a change over there. Don't make a change over here. That's why I tell you, people always want to come here. We have good people here. They're doing the right thing by us. She could go anywhere she wants with a degree. She's got a brain. All right? She can go anywhere she wants, but she chooses to be here. If you look at the list of district managers and see how much money they make. And how much I got to keep fighting for this young lady to get a raise so she don't leave. Think about it. And we got to look in the budget to see what is it you need that we can keep young people here. Kimberly, you know, people that know this community, people that you can talk to when you have a problem. They tell you personal problems. So those are the district managers we need. We don't need someone that is going to clock in and leave and go to West Bubblefield and come back here and make believe they live with us. So Celeste, congratulations. We love you. Thank you for all your services. I'm gonna beat you up tomorrow, but don't worry. That's only love. Your mom, she should be proud. She should be proud of you because she did something good. And thank you.
Do we go to the video now? Okay, okay. So. Okay. Okay, excellent. And then we'll go to the video highlight reel. Here you go.
Okay, good evening, everybody. As Robert Camacho so eloquently put it, I'm reading the words that were given me by Dr. Julie Dent, who is a former CB4 chairperson. So these are her words. Congratulations to Celeste for receiving the 2004 Sloan Public Service Award. I'm excited to share a few words about her remarkable journey. Celeste is a dedicated public servant who truly cares about the people and the community. We first connected back in July of 2012 when she started her career with the former assemblyperson, Rafael Espinal, in January of 2014, when she was voted in as our city council, and he was voted as our city council member, and Celeste joined his team. Celeste has always been actively involved in the community, constantly attending meetings and engaging with residents. She is both a great listener and a talented organizer. Her hard work paid off in February of 2017 when she was elected as the district manager for Community Board 4, officially taking office the following month. For over 6 years, Celeste tirelessly worked with the Bushwick Community Plan. She even founded a group for district managers to come together, share ideas, and support each other. During the challenging times of the COVID-19 pandemic, she ensured that CB4 and the community ran smoothly. One of her significant achievements was organizing a comprehensive survey to identify the strict needs in our area and other areas with the coordination of over 16 different agencies. It was superbly executed. Congratulations once again, Celeste. Keep being a strong voice for our community and not just an echo. Thank you.
I think if you could turn your attention to the television, we have a special highlight video tribute. Okay, no problem. All right.
One of the biggest things has always been diversity. Everyone has their own experience. How do we collaborate to make sure that all folks are being represented?
Since we're experiencing technical difficulties, the video can be seen at www.fcny.org. You also have the video QR code here. We're also going to show it tomorrow at the New York Historical Society. But without further ado, let's hear from our very own 2024 Sloan Public Service Award winner, Celestina Leon.
I think you all know where I get the fight from. A lot of energy, Mr. Camacho and I. So always out there. I have to say first, welcome home. Welcome back to Bushwick. You know, I don't think anyone these days is asking where Brooklyn's at, because everybody knows where Brooklyn's at now. I just have to say, you know, I've thought a lot about just today, this moment, and this isn't just about me. I feel very fortunate to be able to be a conduit for this community. I'm a reflection of everybody who's here. I'm only able to do what this board empowers me to do. I want to be very clear about that. I have learned from the best, and the best are in this room. You know, and there are a lot of us that aren't in this room. I've been at the board for almost 7.5 years now. I don't believe it either. I know it's a long time. I wasn't even with the former council member that long. And, you know, there are a lot of people that aren't here tonight that I also just want to call out by name. Barbara Smith, Mary McClellan, Martha Brown. Remember, we have a lot of board members who've served on this board for years. Mary Highsmith, a lot of our longtime leaders and pillars, Elvina Davis. I learned from the best, and I'm thrilled to be able to make sure that folks know that what we do here just doesn't happen in a vacuum, that what we do here matters, and that they're not going to say no to us. Because when Bushwick was burning down in the 70s, I may not have been there, but I heard the stories. My family was there. Folks in this room were there. We know what that was like. We know what Bushwick was, right? And we know how we got to where we are now. And it was because there were people that didn't just say, oh, it's too hard, I gotta go. But they got together, they sat down, and in July of 1977, it was the first time, it was a charter revision. We talk a lot about charter revisions, but we don't realize their importance. For a long time, the community boards only existed in Manhattan. Only Manhattan was organized and doing things, and the community was advocating. And then in 77, guess what? They came to the outer boroughs. Well, guess what? We're not outer boroughs anymore. Everybody's paying attention now. And so I just want to say, on our most frustrating days, when we're full of rage, when the rats are everywhere, when the garbage is everywhere, you know what? I feel reassured because I know that there are certain people in this community, a lot of people in this room, everybody in this room, I can almost guarantee it, that cares and that wants to make something better and that wants to improve the quality of life. And so I am incredibly grateful and thank you all. But guess what? This is for us, this is for Bushwick, and this is for all community boards. Thank you.
So we hope to see everyone tomorrow night at the New York Historical Society. In addition to the highlight reel, we also want to present you with the official unveiling of your portrait. So you could hang it.
Hang it in your office.
In your office.
As a sign of pride and accomplishment.
Thank you, Brooklyn Community Board for Bushwick.
Now back to work. So that you picked the wrong thing to do a party, man. I don't know. Okay, they're gonna try the video from the other computer, I guess.
And I would just like to add to the folks, thank you for the accommodation. We know that usually it's a daytime and then a nighttime on the same day ceremony. But if you would have come to the office tomorrow, it would have been Kim and I, and maybe Adelina, depending on what time you got there. So we're very glad that everybody else could be a part of this. The video's all set. All right. Thank you, everyone from the fund, and I will be seeing y'all tomorrow. This is the first time I saw the video. It was awesome. All right, we will get our agenda moving. I know we have a few committee reports this evening. I don't want to keep everyone waiting. And at this time, we'd like to ask board members to quietly please help yourselves to some dinner. Once the board members finish, we will invite the public to help themselves to some dinner. But thank you, everyone, for your support. All right, and with that being said, I need the sign-in sheet. Board members, if you haven't signed in, it's right up front. Please sign in. All right, have folks finished signing in? All right, all board members must sign in. The board member sign-in sheet is always up front by Mr. Camacho, the board members and I, and then the public sign-in sheet is always in the back when you first enter. All right, everyone please be ready, including those on Zoom. Isa Abney, Stephanie Anderson, Jacqueline Becerra, Joanna Bennett, Makiba Brown-Elaine, Robert Camacho, Melissa Carrera Solano's excused, Felix Ceballos, Andrew Choi,
Present.
Alvina Davis is excused, Karina Dodd, Cecilia Fabian, Freddie Fowler, Joanna Fuentes Singh, Jason Gares, Christopher Graham, Ann Guiney, Zachary Hendrickson, Deborah Hicks.
Here.
Tanisha Honeygan,
Present.
Barbara Jackson. Gotcha, Barbara. Kaisha Johnson. Virgie Jones. Tara Jones Thomas. Christine Malden. Freddie Madison. Mary McClellan. Desmond Monroe has resigned. Alex Moreno. Ramika Nichols Barnes. Zuma Navoa.
Present.
Gotcha, Ramika. Gotcha, Zuma. Carlos Ortiz. Caitlin Penner has resigned. Raul Rubio. Gotcha, Raul. Eliseo Ruiz. Milagro Sandoval. Bernadina Shell. Barbara Smith. Annette Spellin. James Stewart. Folks in the back, I still need to hear from you to mark you present. James Stewart. Christian C. Tate. Ben Tucker. Jerry Valentine.
Present.
Linda Whitfield. Gotcha, Jerry. Luisa Jose. Sorry about the error on the sign-in sheet, Luisa. I'll make sure that's fixed. All right, we have.
Celeste is Virgie. I didn't hear you
Oh,
call
thank you,
my
Virgie.
name.
I didn't hear you before.
Okay, I didn't hear you call my name.
Twenty-six board members present. That constitutes, oh, actually, wait. We have 42 members total.
Yeah. 42, 22 plus 1, yeah, it's got 14. Have enough.
Yes, we do have a quorum, folks. All right. We will move on now with the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board?
Second. Motion.
I hear a motion from Zach. Is there a second? All right, I got Mr. Fowler, so Zach, and then Mr. Fowler, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. And acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion, Zach Henderson.
Zach makes another motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second? Raul Rubio seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. And before we move on to Mr. Camacho's report, we want to acknowledge that our council member again is here with us this evening, Councilmember Nurse. We welcome you to address folks here tonight.
Thank you. I know everyone's online, so it's, nothing crazy to announce, but I just want to congratulate you again, Celeste, on your award. That's really incredible and well-deserved, fully well-deserved. I've known Celeste for when you were in the council member's office and helped us on projects and has done a lot above and beyond for Bushwick. So I really admire everything you bring to this job. And I will just say that working with not just you and Mr. Camacho and other board members is really helped me be a better council member. So I rely on you to help me know things that we don't pick up or things that we're not seeing or hearing. The partnership we have, I think, is really important. And I feel it's incredibly critical to all of us having success here with this position. So thank you. That being said, I'm gonna pivot. Tomorrow, just wanted to come back here and let you all know that tomorrow, the City Council's Land Use Committee is voting on City of Yes. This is if you all went through this, you made a resolution in support of it, but you had a lot of amendments. I don't have the full picture of it, of what exactly will be voted on. It's still being negotiated tonight. So I'm not able to stay the whole night because I want to stay up to date on where things are landing. It's not just the City of Yes, there's the council's supplemental set of funding asks called City for All, which includes a lot of money for affordability, staffing capacity for some of the agencies like DOB and HPD, infrastructure upgrades. Those were big supplemental asks. But we vote for it on the 5th. Out of our 3 boards, 4 you all put a resolution in favor of it. 2 of my other boards did not, and they really hate it. So it is a really challenging time, but I just wanted to keep you updated. We haven't really gotten a lot of feedback beyond the resolution in the community board or from Bushwick. So if you have feelings about City of Yes, please reach out to my office and let us know. Secondly, we've been getting a lot of calls post-presidential election from a lot of people in the community who have mixed status families or who are just really, really worried and panicked about the idea of mass deportation happening here in New York City. I just want to relay that we don't know what's going to happen. We just don't know. So we can't kind of spin out in a cycle of fear. We have to really be absorbing the information as it's coming, and we won't really know much more until January. What I will say, and what we've been hearing from different groups, is that if you have lingering things that you need to do, appointments you need to make, documentation, identification, things that you need to do that you've been putting off, please try to set that stuff up now, because we just don't know what's happening. So I just wanted to flag that, because we have been getting a lot of calls, and it'd be helpful for everyone here to relay the message and help amplify that we shouldn't necessarily panic, because we just don't know what legally they can do. We don't know what actually can transpire. But to tell people to get their docs in order. And lastly, I want to thank the board for approving the dog park. I know that was a very long, hard fight, but I appreciate your support of it. And as a reminder, it comes also on top of the $4 million upgrade for the Irving Park Playground, which was the top capital need for you all. So we really wanted to be responsive to that. There's a lot of stuff going on at Irving Park. We got the farmers market, which has been a huge success, a dog park coming, a new playground coming, a new toilet coming. There's a lot of stuff happening there. And in Bushwick in general, we've got we're fixing the gate at Bushwick High School to deal with some of the security challenges there that are happening late at night. And a bunch of other things that I can't remember right now because I'm still thinking about this award. But I also wanted to just, again, thank the 83rd for their support. They helped us over on Woodbine recently, a longstanding issue that we've really been struggling with, and hopefully we're in a better place now. But just want to thank them. And so again, City of Yes coming up. Also, we're lighting some trees. We're lighting a tree at Knickerbocker Plaza with my colleague, Councilmember Jen Gutierrez. We're going to parade down Knickerbocker with drums and Santa come out. We're also going to be lighting up a tree at Irving Square Park in the middle, and it's also going to be on the day of the Christmas market that Riseboro is doing. So come on out and have a good time. And like I said, anything you all need, please reach out to us. And just one other thing I thought of is that just to additionally give you some flowers right now. We're actually going to be launching a youth fellowship program, and one of the things they're going to be doing are the 311 walks that you piloted. So we're going to have them out running around writing 311 tickets. So just wanted to acknowledge that that came from Celeste. The agencies are going to hate us because we're going to be sending them a bunch of tickets. They already yelled at us all the time because we're always 311ing everything. But just want to continue. Thank you for your work and your partnership. Thank you.
We want to thank you, Sandy Nurse. I know me and you be bumping heads and yelling and screaming, but I know your heart is in the right place. All the time you see me, you says, "Oh boy, what now again, Camacho?" But I know we can make it happen. I know the people from the park, from the dog park, I know they're gonna do a good thing and make sure that we maintain that park and make sure that the kids have something to, you know, a lot of people love dogs and a lot of people love kids. So we want to make sure that they're both is included in something like that. And we want to tip our hats because when you came, the people that came to do it the first time around took away funding from there and didn't include the community at large in regards to the play area. And then they went back again and then they took it away. And thank God, we got a council person that can listen to me yelling and screaming all the time. That we love dogs, but we want to make sure that our kids have somewhere to go. There's a church there, there's a school. And then our new people coming in with kids. Because I know kids that are being born with babies from Bushwick. So all the time I look, I say, you see, now you're from Bushwick, now we're looking for a park. You got the kid, now you got the dog. So now we need the park and the kid with the dog. So I'm happy for that. So I'm glad. And thank you. And Captain, you're the best, Cap. I don't want to keep telling that the captain is the best. You know why? Because tomorrow they move him out. Yeah, they take him. Every time we get somebody good, they throw him out. I don't know why. Not because he did nothing, but because they need him somewhere else. So I'm trying to keep him that he's no good. So maybe they'll leave him because if you tell them that he's no good, they might keep him just on purpose like that. We want, oh, Bushwick always complain and give him that. So if we keep saying he's doing a good job, then the borough turn around and change him. And we want to make sure we keep him. Thank you. Everyone else can grab food. Whatever you guys, whatever's left over, y'all can have, because I know there's a lot there. Thank you. Anybody else can go.
All right, and we'll move now into the chairperson's report.
No, a lot of you. Oh, I also want to thank Hope Garden is here, the TAs. Thank you guys for coming all the time. We're here to support you and make sure our tenants can continue to live there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna request that property management, Wave Press, and whoever is in charge to come to the committee and tell us what they're doing, one with our tenants, making sure that our tenants are all right, making sure that the services are being provided, because a lot of time, and making sure that the money in their rent is good. Because sometimes I heard that they're getting, so we want to make sure, I want to bring them here and do a full report so our tenants can see, and we want to hear our tenants. Because we really need to hear them because they're the ones that live here and we want to support them in every way. So whenever you guys are ready, we're going to request for them to come here, or Wakefest, Penrose, whoever's making money out of this project, we're bringing them in here. Because if they're getting our tax dollars, then we want to see what they're doing with it for our people. So I'm guaranteed that we, hopefully in January, we'll set something up for we can have Wakers here and we can put them to the belt and making sure that they're taking care of our people in Hope Garden. Because you know it's under RAC conversion. So I know the elected officials meet with them, but I don't know what's going on in the closed doors, but I want to know for myself what's happening. I know what they're doing. I want to know what we're going to do for our people, because that's what we do. We're here for them. That's what this community board is for the services that the taxpayer dollars are coming, all city agencies. That's what we do. And make sure we support her to get the services that we want, because she works for us. We don't work for her. So she works for us because we vote for her. So we want to make sure that they support us in every way. I know people are going to come and go, but the people that have been living here needs to be addressed. So in regards to October 17, Thursday, I went to the CEC meeting at District 32. I got a complaint from some parents. We're going to speak to the superintendent. You spoke? Oh, thank God. Because some of the parents are calling very bad, indicating that the teacher, one classroom was cut and the kids were moved someplace else. They over-enrolled people and it was real. So I know we're gonna find out what's going on because we got a new deputy superintendent. So we're gonna find out which, on the charter revision, they're not ours, but they come to us and help us. And we work with them to make sure, because those are our families. So we work with them, with the CEC. On Friday, the 18th, CB4, we met with elected officials, with Riseboro, with regards to some of the issues that Casa Posiva or Riseboro in general. As you know, they are a not-for-profit organization. So we want to make sure that they don't forget the motherland, Bushwick. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on them to make sure that they service our seniors. October 22nd at 6 p.m., the A3 Community Partners. Also the 24th, we met public hearing with DOT with outdoor dining. You know that outdoor dining the 29th. So if you see a crummy looking ugly shed on the road, take a picture, send it to the office. Let me know. I hate them sheds. I really do. If they're gonna put a brand new one and fix it, they gotta take it out in November. So it's gonna be from April to November. Everybody know how much money that outdoor dining is gonna pay? Take a guess. Take a guess for 4 years. $1,050. Very cheap, right? If you divide it, I know my math very well. It's less than $20 a month. So I know people in this community that own their home and can't park in front of their house. And then we see Jersey, Pennsylvania, Florida, Kentucky, Alabama, all them Alabamas, all them love farmers, they're all parking in Bushwick. They don't move. They get tickets. They don't move because they're not here. They throw the ticket away. So we want residential parking. That's what we need. We need to speak to our state senator, residential parking. If you own your home and you see when you live there, we want it. And you know how we do that? Very easy. Guess what? Put the $20 on my taxes, I want the front. You know why? Because I clean 18 inches over the curb, okay? I gotta pick up dog crap, but they don't pick it up, all right? The tree that the city parks in front cracks my sidewalk. I get a summons, I get no insurance, because now I gotta go to court to fix that. So if we're responsible for all those things and maintaining and cleaning, why you don't give it to us? You know why? Because we're not fighting for it. So if everybody gets together, let's get a petition going, take it to the state elected officials, Maritza Davida, our state, also Eric Delan, and tell them we want residential parking. We want to get enforcement because 60 days when you move from Alabama here, you gotta change your plates. I got the police can tell you. But they don't change their plates. You know why? It's cheap insurance. So I know, believe me. So we're gonna work on that. Also, CB4 Economic Development, Housing Land Use on the 4th Monday, EPTS committee. I also went to Borough Hall on November 7th at 6 p.m. in Borough Hall. We did request, I left my thing, we did request that person, that council person or whoever that did that, wanted to do that, to come out and do a presentation and tell us the reason why. So I think hopefully maybe they'll come or maybe they'll pull it out because we don't want no surprise. We don't want no surprise behind our ballot saying that we want to term our district managers out. The district managers are voted in by the community board. She works for us. We appoint her. They shouldn't be firing someone we know ain't do nothing wrong or term limit anyone because they feel that they can't get to her because they gotta go through the community board and we don't agree with some of the things they do. I call it politics. I don't call it politics, I call it politics. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids. So we want to make sure that we take care of our people. We gotta look out for home. Monday the 11th, there was at 11, we did, thank you, Captain. I did a graffiti removal. He made me work with the captain, with the NCO programs and the youth officers. I went to the Hope Garden Advisory Board, 422 Central, the NCO partners meeting, permits and license, all at one day. It was crazy, but on November 14th, Thursday, I was at the District Service Cabinet Committee. We have all city agencies, please, if anyone has any problem, we had District 32, we got them help, we had Borough Hall, we had Sandy Nurse office, we had DSNY, we had the A3 Precinct Council, we had Jennifer Gutierrez office there, we had DSS Intergovernment, we have DOB, we have all the city agencies, our congresswoman is there, we have the libraries there, all, and we sit down and we address issues that you, the community, gives, and we make sure that we follow up to make sure that it's taken care of. So those, we meet every month. Correct. On Monday, I went to the TA Hope Gardens meeting. I met, there was a meeting with Casa Posiva and Riseboro, because there's been a lot of issues with Casa Posiva. I don't think it was good at all. I know some of the tenants aren't paying rent because they're not fixing, and some of the tenants aren't getting their vouchers, and they're not getting the funding for their vouchers because the tenants aren't letting them in to fix some of the problems because they're not doing they're not working together. So they had a meeting here. We thought we could make it happen, but it was too much. There was too much animosity with a lot of the seniors that been there, and they think that Riseboro forgot about them and that they don't care about them, that they're going all over, opening up all over and forgetting about the motherland. So we got to bring them back to space and make sure that they serve our community. And then we have some people, tenants there, telling the tenants not to recertify, meaning recertification means that if you have a subsidies in your apartment, you need your apartment to be inspected in order for them to be, for the government to pay the subsidies, because you pay 30%. So if I pay $130 rent and they pay, the subsidy pay $1,200, they don't get paid the $1,200 because they're not allowing them to inspect the apartment, because that's part of the criteria in order to get subsidized, to make sure that they let NYCHR do the inspections to make sure that it's taken care of. So the tenants are outright now allowing them. So the buildings are going disarray. It's a mess. So we've been trying to work with them to make sure that we keep our tenants home. Please, 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 no matter what you do, certify your apartment, because if they take away your subsidies, you ain't getting it. So I don't know why they telling the tenants not to certify. Certify your apartment, let them in. If it doesn't pass inspection, they don't get paid, they don't get paid. But at least you keep your stipend and you get that subsidies. Because if you don't have that subsidy, I know somebody that's paying $3,900 rent in Hope Garden. So please, we got to make sure we support them and help them. On Tuesday, the 19th, I went to the A3 Precinct Council. Today, I went to the clergy. Everything I do bad during the week, I go on the third Wednesday during the day, because I see all the pastors there. So they give me all my blessings. They say, Camacho, you're good to go for this week. And I say, thank you, Bishop Clark, Ms. Davis, Avina Davis. They all give me blessings all the time. And I go back and try to give it to Celeste, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to have to invite Celeste with me to get some blessings. I'm only kidding. And I was over by Maria Hernandez Parkway because the Eric Gonzalez, our district attorney, was giving turkeys out in the park and food. You guys, I had his chief of staff tell me that he couldn't believe that these people were asking for food. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. He says, all these people from around the corner, all around the block, getting food. And they didn't even have enough for everybody. They had to wait to get another truckload for 6 o'clock to give them. So food in Bushwick is bad. We need food, guys. You should be surprised at the lines that were out there today. And I told them, I said, if you give one side of Bushwick and you forget the other side, then you got a problem. You got to give us, 37, 34, counts to both. Let's meet in the middle and let's feed everybody. It can be done. We can't just keep one corner and forget the other side on Cooper Street, over there by Irving Square Park. Or you can't miss in the front, in the middle on Broadway. Since 1977, Broadway ain't get nothing, no love. So we really need to work on it. And today, the full board meeting. And I just want to, as you know, I'm also the chair of the district office. There are, I'm not gonna read all this. There's some, I know some of you guys got it on your phone. Read. You guys gotta read. Some of the things that we sent you in the emails and the committee mail, read. Because something in there might be important that we're voting on, and we don't want to go to the committee, sit there and start all over and read, and you don't read it. We want to go there, address the issue, do the recommendations, and leave. I don't want to come to 500 meetings and don't do nothing. I want to come to 500 meetings and get things done. That's what I want. Also, if you're gonna be absent, you must call the office. It's in our bylaws. You must call the office before 4. Don't call at 5 or 6 when we hear that you're not gonna be here because you're marked absent. And in one of my recommendations, I got 5 people that are gonna be removed from the board for time and attendance. So if you're in the board, you want to serve Bushwick, you better come to the meetings because your vote counts. And it's not fair that these people that need services, you're not coming to this meeting and we got to table these meetings. There are things that are important now that we need to vote on. And everybody's opinion counts, whether it's good or bad. I don't mind listening to it. So we really got to get together and make sure. So there are recommendations to remove people from time and attendance. When the recommendation comes, I will give you the names. And then the committee already made a motion too. So we're bringing it to the full board to get across on it. I know we have someone from the borough president's office, and we're gonna meet with the borough president because I know I know Desmond Monroe, a longtime board member, he resigned, only because, he's making some money. Ching ching, let the cash register ring, don't hurt him. He wants to help. He's an investor. He came to this board and he said, why can't we create affordable housing for our people? So he got his license, he got his stuff, and he's gonna start getting affordable housing through the NWB. So why can't everybody else do it? There's no excuse. So now he's doing affordable housing. So he's been too busy. I haven't mailed him or texted him because I want to speak to him. I want to thank him for helping us and guiding him. We're gonna miss him. We're always here. And if he knows anything that we can, let us know. Sometimes we don't want to have these developers in these meetings because they're only looking out for themselves. Sometimes we need to have one of them in our pocket and say, how is it that we can do it and watch them? My mother always told me, keep your enemies close. So make sure that we know. So maybe he can give us some guidance on how is it that we can get deeply affordable housing. I don't mean affordable for people that live in Bushwick. You know, so we really need to work on that. And I guess that's it, Celeste.
Any questions for Mr. Camacho? All right, I don't see any hands. Anyone on Zoom? I don't see anyone on Zoom. I have just one suggestion / question. I believe we have a few different state elected official representatives here this evening. I saw Senator Salazar's office. I see Assemblymember Eric Delon's office. Is anyone here from Assemblywoman Davila's office? I know we usually have a rep on Zoom. So the point I'm making is perhaps by the next meeting, they can come back with some information on residential parking. How does that sound? Sound good? All right. So any info that you can provide by then, what the community would need to do to advocate for that would be very helpful. All right.
I know, Celeste, that there was a recommendation back in the days. One of the council, I think it was in Manhattan, I'm not too sure if it was. Maybe you could fill them in on what occurred or what happened, because I know you gave me a big giant book on it and it didn't go through. We didn't know why. I know it wasn't passed, so maybe we can try to stir. If other communities don't want it, then by all means. But if we can do it in ours, get that residential parking. And not only does it do that, it makes it easy on PD, because if you got an out-of-state parking, he can't park there. So where's he gonna park in Bushwick? He can't. He's gotta go out. And then he has to register his car in and pay our fees that we pay. So those out-of-state plates won't go. If you go to Ashcan in Middle Village, they have residential parking over there. Yes, they do. And park there and you see what happened to your car. I know for a fact, because I was one that got told. I didn't know there was residential parking, and they towed my car, and they gave me $120 fine, and it cost me $300 to get my car back. And the car wasn't a Mercedes-Benz, it's a 2000 Plymouth Voyage, 24 years old. So I think the ticket cost more than the car. You like that, right? I'm funny, I know, I got jokes.
We'll have some more information by the next meeting. I think Mr. Camacho is referring to a white paper that former Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer put out before that summarized different cities that have a residential parking model. We followed up on that with NYC DOT, Department of Transportation. They let us know that DOT is not able to make that change. It has to come from the state, which is why Mr. Camacho said we need to speak to our state elected officials. And not to alarm everyone, this is not necessarily a public service announcement, but we should all be very familiar with daylighting. I know there are some committee members that know what daylighting is, but for everyone that doesn't know, daylighting is when they remove a parking space from the corner and they put no standing, and it's in order to increase public safety and visibility when you're going across an intersection. So it's something that is beneficial. However, the benefit comes at an extreme cost to Bushwick, which is already struggling with parking. And so what we're trying to say, before the state or any elected officials make any changes and Bushwick loses 1,000 parking spots, that's not an exact number, don't quote me on that. So we just want to make sure that we are prepared and that the folks that are most vulnerable and that need to be close to their homes have an opportunity, and that it can be part of this conversation.
And since Celeste can't say this, I just want to remind all of you, listen, kiosks, bike racks. This is all in the street, outdoor dining. Now, 9 to 10, they trying to do the containerized for big buildings. It's gonna be in a parking spot. The shared parking cars, you know, you ever saw the shared spots that they got? Nothing for you, but yeah, you clean your snow. You pay your taxes in your house. You clean the leaves that they plant the tree there that you picking them up, because if somebody falls, you're gonna get sued. So nothing for the working people and the people that own homes. We need to rise up, step up, and tell them we want our fair share of these streets. If everybody wants to come on down. Bushwick can do it. We can get our own fair share. Our seniors, I see carrying cars and stuff. When they got a car, they don't move the car at all, because if they come back, they don't got a parking spot. So bring the plan across to I could show them how much we're paying, raise my taxes $20 a month, give me my front of my place. Because you're doing it with the kiosk, with the phone. They're all making money except the people that live in Bushwick. We're wasting. Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else for the chairperson's report, we will move on now to the introduction of elected officials and representatives. Are there, please, folks that are in person, please come up to the front, to the mic stand, and then folks that are on Zoom, raise your hands. Name and contact information. Go ahead, Fran, on Zoom.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fran from Councilmember Nurse's office. Our office number is 718-642-8664, and we are at 56 Pennsylvania Avenue.
All right, that seems to be the only person on Zoom. We'll come back if not. Go ahead in person.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Reyes from Assembly Member Eric Martin DeLon's office. Our office is located at 366 Cornelia Street, and our phone number is 718-386-4576.
Hi, I'm Lacey Tauber, Brooklyn Borough President Reynoso's office. Our number is, my phone number is 718-802-3894, and we're at Brooklyn Borough Hall.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Angelica Colon. I'm from Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez's office. Our phone number is 718-963-3141, and our office is at 244 Union Avenue. I just wanted to introduce Kim from our team, Kim Vega, a new organizer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Julia Salazar. We are located at 212 Evergreen Avenue. Phone number is 718-573-1726. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any other elected official reps. Moving on to agency, community-based organization representatives, any city agency or any agency or community-based organizations, please come to the front or raise your hand on Zoom.
Hey, Joe Tonelli, Friends of Irving Square Park. Best way is irvingsquarepark@gmail.com.
Hi, with Bushwick Housing Independence Project, or BHIP for short, 929-324-7358. Email is BHIP, organize@gmail.com.
All right, and any businesses this evening? You can come up if you're here in person or raise your hand. Oh, and I also see Anton. Go ahead on Zoom, Anton.
Good evening, everyone. This is Anton Nimblet from Volunteers of America Bushwick Family Residence. We're at 1675 Broadway, and I'm glad to be at the meeting. Congratulations, Celeste.
Thank you. Go ahead in person.
Hi, excuse me. My name is Eddie Perez. I'm the general manager of the Bushwick Star, located at 419 Elder Street off of Wyckoff. My phone number is 929-429-8406, and my email address is eddy@thebushwickstar.org, and that's star with 2 R's. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands on Zoom, no one else in person. We will move on now to the 8-3 Precinct Commanding Officer Report, Captain Poggioli.
Good evening, everyone. Very nice, everybody, as always. So I just want to start, and Celeste, you mentioned the name. I just want to kind of say it again and reiterate it. Barbara Smith, you know, we speak every week, every month that she needs our thoughts and prayers. And as we meet again, like, you know, that message is even more emboldened, right, and increased. So let's just always keep her in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you. So Celeste, when you were presented with that award, one of the statements that they made that really kind of resonated for a second was that you choose to lead like the interest of Bushwick through your heart. And that for, you know, like that's a collective message to everybody in this room, right? Like I always said in one of my first introductions here, I said, you know, we're all going towards that same goal. There's many, many different paths, right, that we all embark on to take, but you lead with the interest at heart. And I could tell you personally, I could tell you professionally, you'll always have a partner in myself and in the 8-3 precinct as a whole. I mean that. And council member, to your acknowledgement earlier, listen, I've acknowledged your efforts before and I'll do it again. You're that conduit, right? You have that ability to bring these agencies together when you receive those complaints, and you make my job that much easier with your involvement. And I do appreciate that because, again, common goal, and I appreciate your assistance always on those matters. Thank you. So before I get into some of the crime statistics, as Mr. Camacho said, the DA sponsored that turkey giveaway earlier this afternoon at Maria Hernandez Park, and our community partners will be sponsoring their own turkey giveaway this Sunday at 1 o'clock in front of the precinct at the 480 Knickerbocker Avenue. So right now we're slated to give away approximately 350 turkeys or so. It is going to be on a first come, first served basis. So I always put that out there because that's the expectation, right? There's 350 and it's going to be first come, first served. But a point that I hit last night and then I want to reiterate this evening is that, you know, these giveaways, right? Measures like the people that are donating their time and to put this food out there, like it really should be for those in need. Right? Like these giveaways are not done for convenience because Thanksgiving is approaching. But if there's 350 turkeys, like if you know someone, right, that may not be here, but is hard up and say, hey, you know what, the 8-3, the community partners, they're doing a turkey giveaway on Sunday. Like that's the message should be taken back. Like we all know people that, you know, some are more fortunate than others, and those less fortunate are the ones that should be provided that opportunity to receive those 350 turkeys. So I'll be out there, Mr. Camacho, myself, right? 5:30. We're heading up to Yonkers to grab 350 turkeys. I got him in the mix now. We got Sal from Tony's Pizza. So it'll be good. It'll be good. But please, like I said, please take that message back, right? It's for those in need, not out of convenience. So I just really want to briefly hit some numbers and then just open it up to questions and dialogue, because I know everybody's been sitting here for a little while now and now everybody has a full stomach. So nobody's really listening anyway. But over the last month, 30% decrease in overall index crime within the 8-3 precinct. And just so you know, like sometimes we get questions about that 30-day period. So to be actually specific to the way we document index crimes and measure index crimes. And this is something that is publicly accessible right through our NYC websites, is our CompStat page. You'll see that first column is a 7-day period, and that runs Monday through Sundays. Then that second column is actually a 28-day period. So for this particular period, we're speaking of the crimes we've taken as a precinct from October 21st, 2024, continuing through November 17th, 2024. And then we compare that specific 28-day time period to those same date range as compared to 2023. So in comparing those two side by side, we have a 30% decrease from that time period in 2023. Within that 30% decrease is a 55% decrease in robberies and a 56% decrease in burglaries. So now our year-to-date numbers, right? So our year-to-date numbers are measured January 1st. So when this report ends, this current one we're speaking of, which is November 17th. And same thing, our year-to-date period would then be compared to January 1st of 2023 through November 17th of 2023. So in comparison of those two time periods, we were at a decrease of 11%. Now, what is 11%? 11% is a raw number decrease, which equates in 196 less crimes in comparison to 2023. So that's at least, right? Because depending on where complaint reports are taken, right? At least 196 people were less victimized by a crime as compared to last year. So that's progress. That's a good thing. Now, last time we spoke about a continuing struggle that this community has had with street robberies. And I spoke to everybody, and Camacho could, attest to this. I said, by the time we meet next month, I think we're going to turn that corner, right? It's been a battle throughout the year, and slowly but slowly, we've been closing the gap. And I'm happy to report in front of you today that we are now at a 10% decrease in robberies to as we were last year. So we have turned that corner. We have an overall decrease of 11%, which is included a 10% decrease in robberies. Gun violence. Something I don't talk about too often because very fortunate as a community, we don't deal with it too often. As I said last night, and I'll say it again this evening, even one shooting victim is one too many. I don't think anybody would argue with that logic in this room. All right. But from where we stand now, as to compare where we were in this period last year, we're at a 50% decrease. You know, that's half the incidents. Again, progress. That's good. These streets are safer. What does that mean, though? What is half the incidents? Half the incidents are 7 less people were victimized by gun violence in this community last year than as compared to last year. So again, like we really have to take a look at that. Like that's really due to, and I'm always clear in my message of how we get these results, right? The NYPD, the 8th precinct, we're tasked with public safety in this community, but we can only take those efforts so far, right? It's collective. It's collective. I come in front of everybody here. I go in front of our clergy councils. I go in front of our community council. And my message is always the same. When we speak of crime prevention measures, I need everybody in this room to now take what we speak about here and bring it back into the community, right? I can only reach right now who's in front of me, who's on Zoom. We multiply our message through our various social media outlets. But when everybody goes here who's a resident of this community and they bring these messages back into the groups that they partake in, right? Like, you hear from Irving Square Park, right? You go back and now you spread the message that we talk about those in those particular groups. Like that's how we all do this, right? This is a decrease of crime, you know, in the 8th precinct, but it's a decrease in crime in Bushwick, and everybody here is a part of Bushwick. So this is a collective success of everybody here. And that's why I always try and highlight these numbers and really explain it, because this doesn't get done just with the NYPD. It doesn't just get done with the community boards. It doesn't just get done with elected officials. It gets done with everybody working together. So as I said last night, and I'll say it again today, I thank you personally. I thank you for everybody's efforts throughout the year, because, you know, we all want to get from point A to point B and travel and conduct business and reside and not have to worry about certain things. And from what our numbers look like right now, everybody's doing a real good job. So thank you very much.
All right, any questions for the captain?
Hello, Jason Gers, CB4. We talked about this at the Environment, Parks, Transportation Committee, that on Wyckoff Avenue and Madison Street across from the Auto Zone, it's become sort of an open air auto repair market like Willets Point, kind of in the bad old days, just spilling oil all over the place and people jacking up their cars and leaving brakes and things of that nature. So we talked about it, and Camacho said that's a NYPD enforcement issue. So asking for some support on that, and if you have any other thoughts or awareness of the situation. Thank you.
Talk about exactly the geography you're speaking about. You know, obviously it's right across from the Auto Zone, so that 2 precincts, and that's a conversation that's already been had with, that's falls within the 104 precinct there, but we're well aware of it. We've already made recommendations on the conditions out there. I was out there myself last week during the days, just passing by, and I see they're all lined up on the right-hand side there across from the Auto Zone. We've received a message from Mr. Camacho, and we are in discussion to go out there, but yeah, that was passed along, just so you know. Okay.
Good evening. How you doing? Christopher
How are you?
Graham, CB4. I don't have a question. I just wanted to share with you and with everyone in here something that happened to me recently. I went to pay my bill and I mailed the check. And so it was time sensitive. So I was checking in periodically to see if the check was cashed. And so finally the check got cashed. And when I looked at it, somebody had took it out of the mailbox and they changed the name and it went to somebody else. And so I had to, call the insurance company, explain to that, what happened. And that was fine because the check was for like $290 something. That was fine.
Mhm.
And then when I spoke to them on the phone, I thought that was the end of it. And then it dawned on me, he said, "Did you mail the form with it?" And I was like, which had all my information on it, which my social security number, everything. So that mailbox is on the corner of Weirfield and Wilson. And I don't know if we can get that box moved because I've been here for a while and this is not the first time that's happened. And I normally wouldn't put it in the box, but I was kind of in a rush, so I did. But that box is in a very dark spot. It's on the side street. If we can kind of get it moved to the corner where it's lit, that I think that might be something that's a little better.
So we'll document, that request and obviously along to the postal service, right? That we heard this in the community board, but it's important that right, that message and that people understand, like sometimes they make some of those mailboxes, right, that are not the traditional door opening, but that have like the teeth as you put it in. But we do see check frauding, we see that where they'll bleach a check and they'll change who it's payable to for the amount and things like that. And those are things that, obviously as, if we're positive that's mailed to that thing, but those are things we do highlight throughout social media and now like measures that we could take in place to avert that. But what I will do is we'll pass that along, right, to the post office and see if they're open to a relocation of the box. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Darcy Richards. I've lived in the neighborhood for about 7 years. Earlier, you said that there were about a 50% decrease in crime across the two metrics that you brought up. 50% sounds like a lot, and I'm sure some of it has to do with improved police activity. But I was curious if there were any other factors in the neighborhood or in changes in the way people behave that you might have noticed that also contributed to that decrease.
Well, I think that's exactly what I highlighted, right? That the decrease is not an accomplishment solely of the precinct. It's a collective effort to everybody that I acknowledged and identified and to going back and spread that message. So yeah, just to wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. It's not a sole accomplishment, but it's a collective effort. Those successes that we see are because of the efforts of all of us.
The question, Earl's my name. The question I have is, you got jokes, right, Mr. Camacho? You're not leaving the precinct, are you, Captain? Okay, thank you for the joke, man. Damn, glad you're gonna be around.
Yeah, I'm not going anyway.
But I just wanted to say that it's can be a beautiful thing to get a bridge with the community to the police department. Hate is a spiritual cancer. We got to try not to hate the police. You never know when you need them. FD&Y, which you mentioned earlier, EMS, the people who serve us. So I'm just hoping that the end of this year, going into next year, things can improve at least to better.
Yeah.
Versus worse.
Absolutely.
That's it. And thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And that's a veteran, man. Come on, you gotta listen up to our veterans.
James Stewart, CB. I have a question and it back to the parking issue. Currently there's a motor home that's been there for 3 months. It's collected dozens of tickets at this point. We tried to report it and it's still there. We have that block, particularly on Hemrod between Bushwick and Evergreen, is notorious for abandoned cars. And so I'm bringing it to your attention to see what can be done about this.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. We had a similar issue. I think it was on Jefferson Street, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a little labor intensive at first, but we were able to engage like a heavy tow and finally get it out of there. We could do the same there. I'll just have either Officer Kowalczyk or Lopez stop by and get the exact address that that's at. Yours was on Weirfield? It wasn't on Jefferson? Right. Yeah, see,
Good evening, everyone. Felix Ceballos, CB4. Captain, thank you for your job. Thank you for everything you do for the community. I have a question. I hear from the mayor, they're going to improve more officer in the street. Is that going to be in our community too? Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't see, I read some of the same articles that I think came out today that they were funding some additional classes and those get dispersed, throughout the city into the precincts. As I mentioned last night, we just gained an additional 6 offices that we deployed along some of our commercial corridors on Knickerbocker Avenue and Myrtle Avenue. So I wouldn't see any reason why we should expect another batch of officers as like the classes continue to graduate. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Cecilia Fabian, CB4. Thank you, Captain. I've been at a few meetings with Precinct 83, and I've seen you guys presence here. I just want to address, as someone said about being the bridge between the precinct and the community. I think that is really helping out the community. Just being able, I'm going to say, not to be afraid of the police, to sit around the police and be around the police officers. And I think you being, the police being approachable in our community and still as being dependable of your assistance, I think that's bringing a lot of people feeling a lot better in our area. And I just want to say thank you and for that.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
He did the first step and basically made the precinct aware of the situation with the mailbox. But if you go to the USPIS report page online, you can make a report as well. With the Postal Service. They have inspectors that do inspecting services, and they'll go to the location. Okay, I'll forward the information to Celeste and maybe she can find.
Could be.
That's it.
I don't see any other hands. Anyone else on Zoom? I don't see any hands raised on Zoom either. Okay, we thank you, Captain.
Thank you. Congratulations again, Celeste.
All right, so I've gotten one time check from our parliamentarian, Joanna Bennett. I've also heard some whispers of other time checks in the room. So it is, folks, it is now 8:25. If we want to get out of here before 9 o'clock, we're going to have to really move. With that being said, I'm happy to conclude the chairperson's report and go right into mine. I will do my best to summarize. I won't go through all the meetings I've attended as usual. I do attend many of them with Mr. Camacho and other board members. To get us started, good evening, everyone. Happy belated Veterans Day. It is also National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month, National Diabetes Month, and National Native American Heritage Month. And as usual, I hope you've been able to enjoy some of the related activities in Bushwick and beyond. And I'd like to take a few minutes to spotlight the CB4 website news section. Kim is going to share the screen very quickly. It includes a variety of information received by the district office. And I'm going to just read off the top few notices that we've put on there. So this is our website for November 2024. You're going to see them listed by month. More recently, Mayor Adams elevates drought level to warning, pauses Delaware Aqueduct repair project, orders city agencies to implement water saving measures, and New Yorkers to continue conserving water. End of season, November 29th is the final day to remove roadway outdoor dining setups. Congestion relief zone tolling begins January 25th. We may not be in Manhattan, however, we may be affected by congestion tolling. I encourage everyone to take a look at the information that's being shared right now. And then extended to November 22nd, strengthening community programs application is now live. This is Office of Emergency Management. And then Con Edison to customers, stay informed and alert to avoid scams. I believe this is a scam prevention week starting on November 17th. Please take a look at the information. It's updated on a weekly basis and it is very useful to the community and beyond. I also encourage job and professional development seekers to check out the Bushwick Jobs Board. It is already featured. And Kim assists with making sure the Bushwick Jobs Board stays up to date. It was created as a tool to assist local job seekers and employers by consolidating employment and related information received by the board's office in a well-organized and easily accessible space. The project was informed by the board's Economic Development Committee and endeavors to better align and share opportunities as New Yorkers recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. And then I'm just going to read off a few of the meetings that I was able to attend. There was on Thursday, October 17th, the Civic Engagement Commission held a parliamentarian workshop prep feedback session. We know in the past, board members have attended these sessions, and often what we've noticed is technical information will be provided. However, that information may be applied differently at every community board. Mr. Camacho and I were there together, and we were able to provide some insight as to how we operate in Brooklyn at Brooklyn CB4, and there were other, I believe, one Queens board representative as well as a Bronx representative, and I don't recall if there was a Manhattan rep on off the top of my head, but there was at least representation from several boroughs. And then on Tuesday, October 22nd, I was able to attend the Center for Urban Pedagogy's annual benefit. Folks may remember the Center for Urban Pedagogy, also known as CUP, as a collaborative partner in the CB Community Board Term Limit Project that is still ongoing. I look forward to sharing more in the future. And to the captain's credit, they held on Thursday, October 24th, a nightlife meeting. When everybody says, what's the board doing about all the nightlife on Wyckoff? What's the board doing about all the nightlife everywhere? Frequently, we start with saying that we work very closely with the 83rd precinct to make sure that one, safety is always a priority. And two, in addition to all the other quality of life complaints, the food trucks, the garbage, the noise, it's a work in progress. It's not easy, but we are thankful, as we've noted earlier in this meeting, for the support of our local elected officials. And we hope to have more information coming out of the Permits and Licenses Committee and into the new year. And on Sunday, October 27th, just want to give a shout out to the folks, the board members that came out for really short, it wasn't a short notice, but it was kind of like put together within a few weeks. See a community board team building event at the Highland Park Disc Golf Association. Big thank you to the committee chairs, both Christian Celeste Tate and Ben Tucker, for organizing that. And for everybody else, Barbara Jackson who came out, Jason Garris who came out. It was great to see folks and hang out for a little bit and learn how to throw a disc. Yeah. All right. And on Monday, November 4th, I'm going to skip that one. That was just a training. I wanted to mention, it was also with the Independent Budget Office, but I wanted to highlight on Wednesday, November 13th, there was an Independent Budget Office symposium at New York Law School. And it was different panels. I was able to ask questions directly to the New York City Controller, Brad Lander, to the Public Advocate, Jamani Williams, to Councilmember Gail Brewer, and then to the Queensborough President, Donovan Richards. They were joined by plenty of other folks on those panels, but really speaking to the work that we do here at CB4 and also among the other community boards. And the last, second to last item I want to highlight, we have a new fellow from the Fund for the City of New York that's working on a 311 project. So we're going to be diving into how, when you call 311, what happens at every agency when you call, and what are the major issues affecting Bushwick, and how can we streamline that process and maybe better inform. I've never heard someone say 311 is a tool for social justice, but who knows? Maybe this fellow might get us there. We can hope. And on Tuesday, November 19th, Evergreen Briefing and Brews. This was last night. I was also joined by Christian C. Tate from the EPTS committee, the chairperson. This was on the NYC industrial plan for all of our manufacturing businesses. We know manufacturing space, industrial space has been very sensitive in Bushwick. We see a lot of nightlife coming into those areas. We don't see the same types of jobs or opportunities for folks. And we want to make sure that whatever the city is intending to do, that is informed by manufacturers, that is informed by the community. And we're glad to be there yesterday to learn a little bit more and to get a head start. And that concludes my report. All right. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Committee reports are next. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I would suggest just high level bullet points to everyone, and we'll kick it off with economic development and housing and land use. Ann.
Hi, everybody. Ann Guiney, Housing and Land Use Chair, along with Christine Malden, who does economic development. But our last meeting was Tuesday, October 29th. We had 2 major points of discussion. The biggest one was the presentation from Riseborough and Nehemiah Homes about a new affordable home ownership project. They came to us about 5 years ago before the pandemic. They're 5 separate sites all over Bushwick, just standard, individual lots. They're going to be a mixture of co-ops, and it sounds like a condo and some rentals. They are going to be put at below market rents and with presumably some kind of flip tax if the people who ultimately buy these units decide to move on so they can be remained affordable. We had a lot of questions. The project, while they had images for us to look at, there were major policy and affordability questions that we really will continue to ask for answers on. And just for people's curiosity, and again, I'll keep it very snappy, 1277 DeKalb, 1143 Hancock, 676 Central, 1262, 64 Bushwick, and 641 Chauncey. Those are the sites. But basically, they are trying to turn them over into the Interborough Community Land Trust, which would provide for a much more secure affordability framework for them to work in. That is not yet secure. We asked about rents and costs. They are targeted at certain AMI rates, but they couldn't promise. So I think this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're going to keep on it. They have agreed to come back and keep talking to us. So that's good. And it's not even broken ground yet. There's a long way to go. So it's active and ongoing conversation. The second major thing, other than committee mail, and it turns out there was a lot of interesting stuff in committee mail last month, but I won't get into it. There is a document that summarizing that if people are interested in, it's in our meeting reports on the Google Drive, and it should be pretty straightforward. But basically, we started a review of the responsible development policy. Celeste mentioned that in the wonderful video. Congratulations, Celeste. This is basically what we developed in, I think, starting in about 2019, 2020, and then the full board voted on in 2021, which is what we present to anybody who wants to build anything in Bushwick. This is our statement of values. These are the sort of levels of affordability, sustainability, and also how do you interact with the community board? This is how we want to work back and forth with anyone who wants to build. We're going to pick that up at the next meeting, which is on Tuesday. So if anyone's interested in revisiting this, and it's an update. We're not starting from scratch. Christian did a lot of wonderful work on that. This is to make sure that everything in it is still where we're at right now. That is all. Hope to see many of you on Tuesday, 6 p.m. board office. Thank you very much. Any
Thanks, Ann.
questions?
All right, no questions. Thank you, Ann. And we'll move on to the next committee report, which is Environmental Protection, Transportation, Sanitation, plus Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Celeste. Christian Celeste Tate, Chair of the Environmental Protection, Transportation, and Sanitation. I want to start real quick just with reiterating congratulations to you, Celeste. I'm grateful to do this work next to you, and I appreciate the example you set for all of us. All right, so I'll go through the EPTS portion, and then I'll give it to Ben to talk Parks and Rec. We talked about a couple big things. First, we had an informational update from the Department of Design and Construction about the Wyckoff Avenue reconstruction project. That's a massive reconstruction project of Wyckoff from Flushing to Madison. And it includes some of the intersecting streets between Wyckoff and Irving. And it also includes the pedestrian plaza at Wyckoff and Myrtle. So first, I want to acknowledge this has been a long time coming. This project is massive and has been in the final design phase since 2011. So that's almost 15 years just in the final design phase. So I want to thank all of the longtime board members who have been here pushing this forward and asking for updates and progress. Construction is supposed to begin on this in December of 2025. So still a little ways out. The scope of that project is going to include the water main, the sewer replacement, sidewalk reconstruction, repavement, green infrastructure, traffic signals, street lights, and new pavement, as well as new paved construction of the Wyckoff Pedestrian Plaza. So again, this is a massive project that doesn't come around all that often and is a really big deal for us to make sure that we have our voices heard in this process as it goes forward. So we talked a lot with them as a committee about why it has taken so long for us to get an update, let alone for construction to start. We talked about the possibility of including sewer expansion as well, not just a sewer replacement to help with flooding. We talked about improving sanitation at the plaza and expanding community outreach, especially given that most of the outreach they've done has been on the Queens side, and not on the Bushwick side. All right, next we talked about dining out applications. So we received 3 applications this month. First is from Seawolf at 19 Wyckoff. That's the corner of Wyckoff and Troutman. They applied for a sidewalk cafe and a roadway cafe. Both are replacing existing structures. Neither would be a new structure. Next was Nook at 45 Irving. That's the corner of Irving and Troutman. They applied for a sidewalk cafe and a roadway cafe as well. Again, both replacing existing structures. And then the last was from Variety Coffee at 146 Wyckoff. That's the corner of Himrod and Wyckoff. They applied only for a roadway cafe that, again, is replacing an existing structure. So no loss of additional parking, no loss of additional sidewalk space. And so for each of them, our recommendation was to for the board to support their applications with our standard set of stipulations. That's no outdoor dining after 10 p.m., no amplified music outdoors, and that the businesses use our local jobs board. All right, one last thing on dining out applications. We are also recommending that the board ask and empower the district office staff to start submitting these applications without waiting for community feedback, or sorry, committee feedback. And the reason for that is that we receive the application when DOT does, and then we have 30 days to provide a response. But because by the time our committee meets and provides feedback and then the full board meets, we're often not able to provide feedback within that 30-day window. And that's worst case scenario because then our opinion's not heard at all. So what we're recommending is that the district office staff fill that out for us and then circulate it to the committee to provide feedback over email. So we'll still have an opportunity to provide feedback, but we won't miss any more of our deadlines. Thanks to the district office staff for being willing to take that on. All right, and then lastly, I want to also follow up on daylighting. Just to say that this is something that has come up in our committee a couple of times, and we have had to table it. The dining out applications take up a lot of time, which is also part of why it'll be helpful for the office staff to take over. So this is something that will be on our agenda to discuss in our next meeting. And so I want to encourage everybody to come and participate in that conversation, whether you like it or not, or whether you hate it. We want to make sure that your opinions are heard. We got a letter from the Department of Transportation this past month with 7 intersections that they're daylighting on their own accord. So it's not as simple as this being something that we want or don't want. This is something that the DOT has the power to do without our consideration. And so no matter how we feel about it, we need to make that known and put forward whatever criteria we think need to be taken into account when these decisions are made, so that this isn't something we're hearing about after the fact. This is something that we're driving forward. Any questions?
And everyone, my name's, I live in the community over 40 years. A question for you, what's the Wyckoff? You kept mentioning it, the Wyckoff walk?
Yeah, so are you talking about so there's a massive reconstruction project going on to redo, redesign, repave much of Wyckoff Avenue between Flushing Avenue and Madison. Yeah.
Supermarket yard.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say Wyckoff, you mentioned Wyckoff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just confused or trying to figure out when you say Wyckoff walkway. I
think you're talking about the pedestrian plaza. Yeah, so that's right by Myrtle Wyckoff Station, where the vendors are set up outside, right on where Myrtle and Wyckoff intersect.
So right in front of the subway station. Okay.
Yeah, part of this project is redesigning and repaving and adding lighting to that pedestrian plaza to make it safer and more accessible.
Hi, you said Annette Spelling, CB4. You said Wyckoff from Flushing to Madison. What is happening on Wyckoff from Myrtle to Cooper? That's all torn up as well.
Yeah, so right now, they don't have plans to do a reconstruction project there because, as folks may know, the Wolf Outport site is on the Ridgewood side on Irving by Cooper, and they're still doing the remediation work. However, we were between the efforts of CB4 in Brooklyn and Queens and Board 5, we were able to get them to, at the very least, resurface the street in the meantime, so that way folks aren't like, so.
They're fixing in front of the subway station. There was a few years ago, that was a two-way street that got stopped and we made it into the center that it is now. You cannot come out the subway because there's a lot of, everybody's selling. It's become like a sore eye. So put in lights, what are you trying to do? Because it's not making any sense. You have a lot of, the precincts will tell you, people snatch, they run. It's like the 83rd precinct in the station in the morning so people can feel safe going to work. And that whole place with the buses and everything, it's become more like, you have to watch what you're doing.
Yes, Ken. We did not vote that in. This community board, we knew what was gonna happen. We knew what was going to happen in that location. You're 100% right. Now they're making it permanent. So it's gonna get worse. We did not vote. They went to Queens, they did all the presentation in Queens at that school. We said no to that because we knew what was gonna happen. They're gonna plant trees, now you're gonna have leaves all over the place, and who's gonna clean it if someone said, so we voted now, I know it's gonna go to your property and your place. So go to Queens and tell them that, cause the merchants on Myrtle, the big, uses that for programming. Because they need $1 million bond in order to do programming there. So they use their bonds when they put their lights in the Christmas light, it's on them. But then they come here and they dump all the garbage here and we gotta pick it up and then they blame us for that. We did not vote for that plaza, period. See, I'm gonna pass it to their community board because they're always blaming us when something happens.
Yeah, and
No, I know. I know. You're asking why the lights? Because the powers may be, you want to do what they want to do there.
Yeah.
So we're only an advisory board, so we advise them. If they don't take our advice, guess what? They're gonna put the lights. So they're letting us know that they're putting lights there and they're fixing. That's what they're doing.
two things to add to that. First, so this was an informational update. They were not seeking any feedback from us. I also think that part of the problem that you're describing is what happens when it takes 15 years for the final design phase to happen. Because that plaza presumably did not look that way 15 years ago. So, right, that's what I'm saying. So that part of our feedback to them was to re-engage the community around design because so much time has passed since they last did that, both on the Bushwick side and on the Queens side. I also know that our council member has been super active in that area trying to address a lot of the problems that we're seeing there. So there's a lot that's available for them if they engage with folks. They just need to take that initiative.
We need to work with them because they like to just bring their bus. MTA, I guess we all have to work with them because if they're not coming from Queens, now they're coming down to Ridgewood Place because that's Brooklyn, I was told. And they're trying to bring all their buses and parking it in front of our garages. So we're dealing with that now.
And I see Celeste checking her watch.
Just want to make one note to you. You mentioned the police, the 8-3 in the subway station. That's not the 8-3. That's transit. The transit police that are in the subway station, not the 8-3. But what happens is when you label it the 8-3, people tend to think the 8-3 is not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
All right, last thing I'll add on this before we move on to Parks and Rec is just that I think you make a good point. Multiple agencies coming together there. This was, again, informational from. So they have no say over how vendors use that space or how people navigate it. They're there to pave it. And then the rest is other agencies that navigate how we use it. So this isn't the end of the conversation. There's still a lot of opportunities for us to provide feedback.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Ben Tucker, Parks Chair. I'll start by saying congratulations to Celeste. Again, Celeste, you're the best and you empower all of us to be the best advocates for Bushwick that we can be. Last month at the Parks section of the EPTS meeting, we had an informational update from Parks Department. They are doing a very small scale project on Bushwick Playground on the basketball courts, which are on the Knickerbocker and Putnam side. The most significant thing about this project is that a majority of it is not going to be visible to the human eye. It's all going to be underneath. They are repaving it, and then they are going to put permeable surface with a water holding tank underneath it, essentially. So this comes up all the time, but flooding is a major issue in Bushwick. And we're trying to do everything, everybody needs to do everything they can to address it. So Parks is now analyzing any park surface they can, specifically walking paths, any concrete area, any pavement area, so basketball courts, and then trying to repave them with, I forgot the term for it, but it's like a specific water retention tank where the rain will flow through the pavement, then it gets filtered by rocks, and then it sits in like a holding tank. And when the holding tank gets full enough, the water slowly disperses out so as to stop like flooding. They were saying that now the drains are handling 22,000 gallons of water, up to 22,000 gallons of water, and they're just beyond capacity. So they normally they would come to do a presentation at the full board, but they actually wanted to get in as soon as possible to get this work done. So they just came to the Parks Committee. There was no recommendation needed, so it was just an informational, they were just telling us about it. The work is going to be, it might already be done, the repaving work, but they are not going to come back until the spring to repaint the courts. So in the interim, what they're going to do is repave them. The basketball courts are just going to be plain blacktop. The park has been closed for the month of October, and when it reopens, people will be able to use the basketball courts, but they won't be painted. There won't be any 3-point lines or like the park's logo in the middle. They plan on coming back in the spring to paint the courts. As a Parks Committee, there was no recommendations that we could make on this. However, one point of information that I would like to say is Parks did tell us that originally they only had funding to do one court of 2 basketball courts. They decided to really squeeze out as much as they could with this project, and they did pave over the second court. But with that and the color treatment, they are not putting any more work into the park. So the court itself is going to be renovated, but not the hoops or the fence or anything like that. So for what it's worth, I put up during the participatory budget period, which has just ended, I put up a participatory budgeting idea to renovate the courts, the hoops and the courts themselves. Our council member is not here. She left for the night, but I think Fran is on the call. Fran, I hope you're listening. I have a very good participatory budgeting idea out there that will help complete this project. So I hope you select it. This is actually the 3rd playground in Bushwick that has this treatment. They said that they already did this in Tiger Playground and Evergreen Playground. And over the course of the next year, Parks will be combing park they have in all of Brooklyn and trying to bring this project to other parks. And then while I'm here, I also want to mention that Parks funding is severely undercut and short. And it's not a Bushwick issue, but I'm sure everybody heard about last week, there was a massive fire in Prospect Park. It was a brush fire. That may not have happened if Parks didn't have to cut over 1,000 employees last year because of budget cuts. There are employees who clear brush away and whose job it is to maintain the cleanliness of the paths. And without those Parks employees, the paths get full of dry leaves, and that's what led to these fires starting. So you will hear this from me a lot, but the Parks Committee will be advocating for funding increases. And we'll be bringing this to the full board as soon as we can to recommend budget increases for parks. Thank you very much. Oh, any questions?
No question. I just got one. Y'all did a good job, both of y'all. Thank y'all. See that? I taught y'all well, huh? And then you holler at the elected officials. That's good too, see?
All right, we'll keep it moving to, let's see, permits and licenses next. And I've asked if Christine from the committee doesn't mind just summarizing the businesses and the discussion at the meeting.
Good evening, everyone. Christine Malden here on the Permits and License Committee. Congratulations, Celeste. I was like tearing up, so proud. And thank you to everyone. Also, Kim, thank you so much for your help with this as well. Okay, here we go. We met with several new liquor license applicants this last time. The first one was the Book Club Bar at 380 Troutman Street. This is a cafe, bar, and tavern. They are operating as a bookstore cafe. They start early in the day, but they seem like a mature business that fell well within our stipulated hours. So that was our first new liquor license applicant. The next one was Singularity Cupboard, which is at 10 Cooper Street between Bushwick Ave and Broadway. This is also a cafe and bar tavern, comedy venue hosting stand-up shows nightly with an outdoor space. We were a little bit confused by their application because they had a certificate of occupancy that was for an address that was different from the one that they were occupying, but in their defense, they kind of are on a corner with two separate entrances. So we actually asked them to come back and provide some additional information for us next meeting. The third one is Brosha House at 786 Knickerbocker Avenue on the corner of Halsey and Knickerbocker. And this is a catering hall. It was a family-run operation, also non-controversial hours, hosting birthday parties and business launch events. And then next we had Snake Hospitality at 1540 DeKalb, also a new liquor license. They are between Irving and DeKalb. And these folks have lived collectively in the neighborhood for 15 years. And let's see what else I'm trying to remember what else about them. I think it was also fairly non-controversial. They might have had, let me just check here. No, I think that was pretty much it. And then finally, we had a class change Cats on the Prowl, which is 785 Hart Street between Knickerbocker Avenue and Wilson. These folks were just asking for a class change. And I believe that was everything. We voted in favor to support all of these applications with the addition of any documentation that was missed. I believe they all submitted their every document that we requested, with the exception of this first applicant at 380 Troutman, who was just missing a 500-foot statement. But everyone else submitted their documentation or didn't need to. And the only other exception was the Singularity Cupboard, who we did ask. It was a complicated enough application that was missing some documents, so we did ask them to come back next week. And aside from that, we just had one other case, which was a new liquor license, I believe, but they've never appeared before the Permits and License Committee. So we voted not in favor to support that establishment because we've invited them and they haven't shown up. And I believe that is it for permits and licensing.
Great. Thank you, Christine. Yeah. Give it up. Yes. And youth and education is the final report. Virgie, I know you're on Zoom. Would you like for someone in person? Oh, go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So this is gonna be the last time for the night. So this can be the most thunderous applause for Celeste. Celeste, thank you so much for your service. And I think what people don't realize is that this job is not just during daylight hours, it's 24 hours. And I think you would be rich if you heard so many times, Celeste, oh, by the way, I have one more question. One more question. And, I can imagine what it's like, just on a Sunday, just wanting to be able to go out to the supermarket. You're like, oh, here goes one more question. So with that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So with that being said, some good news is that my report is going to be extremely short, and the reason, no, oh, they had to. My name is Christopher Graham, CB4, Youth and Education Committee member. My report is going to be extremely short because most of the report is something that you've heard earlier today from the library. So let me get into it. So, can't see, you can't, don't laugh, you'll get there one day. So on the agenda was Anna Killian, the City Department Design and Construction, Washington Urban Library Branch located at 360 Irving Avenue. Much of what you heard earlier is the project, and I won't read over everything that they discussed because it was already said, but the most poignant things was that the project objective was the scope of work included rehabilitation of exterior masonry walls, replacement of the roof, upgrading the systems, the HVAC system, so on and so forth, and the fence. And the scheduled design is designed to be completed by the summer of 2025. And it's going to take 2.5 years, as you heard, like I said earlier. Next on the agenda was Jessica Bloom, Managing Director in Programs and Partnerships at Mesa Charter High School. They presented their Youth Workforce Development Program and opportunities for collaboration in Bushwick. Mesa started in 2013, and they were very proud of their high school graduation rate. And they realized that some students after high school, after they graduate, they still need help. And so they developed 2 programs. The first one is an alumni lab, and the second one is a digital marketing lab that supports high school graduates. The alumni lab is a 7-week program which supports the New York State Department of Labor, which is supported by the New York State Department of Labor, that builds confidence and builds skills that help students land a job. The goal is that they're either enrolled in college or into a workforce training program after high school. And their digital marketing lab is a 16-week program in partnership with Full Funnel Growth, which trains young people to work in social media management and email marketing roles. And the Department of Labor has partnered with them so that one of the career coaches have a social worker that works with them, the participants, for 7 weeks, and will refer them to counselors in the community. There is a $500 stipend for each of the people who attend the 7-week program, and there is a $1,200 scholarship for the students who enroll and complete the 12-week training program. With that being said, this program is something that, we all felt at the meeting was very good, because sometimes, college is not for everyone, but education is. And so what happens is sometimes after you finish high school, some of the kids don't have which way to turn. And so this program gives them a chance to see what it's like to be out of school and just be sitting there with having nothing to do, and be able to receive some sort of training so that they can get out their parents' house and be on their own and have their own space. So with that being said, that is the conclusion of our report. Thank you.
All right, 9:01, folks. We're at recommendations, and I have a short list here to help guide us through this process. So we can start with the library. So Chris, do you have the recommendation summarized from the committee? On page 4, it looks like, yeah.
No.
Just the recommendation, read the committee's recommendation, yeah.
So the recommendation reviewed, Ms. Camacho reviewed the gate issue at,
You can go down to the part in italics where the motion was made. Do you have that part? Yeah, this one right here.
motions to support the Washington Irving Library renovation with the following stipulations, that height of the fence be reconsidered, considering Bushwick's campus is in close proximity to the library. And our concern was that students and the general public and dogs will jump over the fence. That minority and women-owned enterprises can be hired to work on the renovation of the project. And those were our 2 recommendations.
Thank you. And since then, as they mentioned earlier, we did have a follow-up conversation, and I would just suggest, because they were very concerned about changing their design and increasing the height of the fence. They do not seem like they are interested in doing that. The board committee can still put that as a stipulation. However, what they said, if they were to leave the fence as is proposed, they would guarantee maintenance. So having custodial staff that's responding to any issues, whether it's dog waste, whether it's garbage, they would have on-site custodial staff. They also have peace officers. So during the day, you have on-site security, but when they leave, they have cameras that are watching the site. They will send out peace officers. They won't just expect the 83rd precinct, although they will be working closely with the precinct. And then there will be signage. Hopefully the signage would indicate, what that space is for. If they have open space that looks like it's accessible, we just want to make sure that folks know the rules. So I would suggest adding some of those things to hold them accountable to what they've stating that they are planning to do. We also asked if there were budget cuts. Do these people, as we mentioned earlier, just disappear? They mentioned that they've been able to retain their workforce. We compared the situation to the Parks Department, where we know there are limited Parks Enforcement Patrol officers. However, we are reassured that the library does have the workforce to support the commitment here. So would someone like to make a motion on the recommendation? I believe that was the motion for everything that was just summarized. Okay, so Annette just motion for everything that was summarized and Joanna seconds. All right, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. All right, and we will keep it moving. Let me go back to my notes. Here we are. And next we have permits and licenses. The way we usually do this is we ask for a blanket first, so we don't have to go through each individual establishment. Is there a motion? Oh, perfect. Okay, second Barbara. Okay, so Barbara, you were closer. I didn't hear who said it in the back. All right, all in favor for the blanket? Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. And then for the recommendations, and I just, point of clarification for the business that was asked to come back. There are no recommendations for that business because they're coming back, correct? Okay, so just want to make sure everybody knows that we're not voting on that one business. Motion from the board for the recommendations. Zach makes a motion. Okay, Christian Celeste Tate seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, one abstention. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I don't see anyone, so no hands were raised. All right. And that concludes permits and licenses, and we have EPTS and Parks and Rec next. And I summarized them here, starting with the sidewalk cafes. Is there a motion for a blanket for all the sidewalk cafes? Okay, Reverend Stewart and Felix Ceballos, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. And then for the recommendations for all of the sidewalk cafe or the roadway and sidewalk dining out applications. Barbara makes the motion. Second, Freddie Fowler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Annette, one abstention. Okay. Motion carries. All right, and then the final recommendation from the committee was to empower the district office to respond to ensure that we are responding within the time frame. Is there a motion for that recommendation? Christian makes the motion. Raul Rubio seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. All right, I'm pretty sure that's all the recommendations,
No, no,
folks.
no.
It's not. I take that back.
No, district office, committee, there's been a recommendation from the committee, to remove the following board members due to attendance and other specific reason. Carlos Ortiz did not attend any meeting. Mary McCullen can no longer serve on the board. As you know, she was moved, to Jersey because of health reasons. Caitlin, Penner, absent and attendance not improved. And Vanessa Shell, constantly absent and attendance has not improved. Can I get a motion from the floor?
One moment. Caitlin Penner has resigned, so that's no longer applicable.
Okay,
And then I believe there were other board members that haven't responded that were on that list. So you may, just for the record, want to indicate which board members were flagged for attendance, even though a recommendation wasn't made. So technically, they're all eligible for removal. So,
but some would receive attendance and not approved, but some of them.
yeah,
So you're gonna, no, this was the ones the committee
yeah,
recommended.
so only at the meeting where they recommended, but all of the folks that are on that list that were
Oh.
flagged are eligible to be removed this evening because their attendance has not improved.
Uh,
Some are in the process of resigning, so that should be, yeah.
okay, so, Janiqua.
Jacqueline Becerra. Melissa Carrera Solano has indicated she has intentions to resign in the new year, so we can move past that.
Barbara Jackson.
Also flagged for attendance, Christine Malden flagged for attendance, Mary McClellan we have already addressed, and Ramika Nichols Barnes.
And
Desmond, who's resigned from the board.
Yes.
And then we've already addressed Carlos
Yeah.
Ortiz, Milagro Sandoval, flagged for attendance. Mr. Camacho mentioned Bernadine Rochelle. And then, of course, we are keeping Barbara in our thoughts and our prayers. We understand it's health related, but just the board still has to document the information in the report. So we take circumstances into consideration. And just to be very clear, no one comes to these meetings wanting to remove any board members. We understand that there's always something going on, and we try to do our best to be mindful and respectful of that. And so with that being said, it's Carlos Ortiz, Mary McClellan, due to health reasons. We were sent an email from someone else indicating she's no longer able to participate. And she's also communicated as much to me, even though she wants to be here or she wanted in the past. And then Bernadine Rochelle, who is not here this evening. Is there a motion? Barbara Jackson makes the motion for them to be removed. Second by Luisa Jose. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. Was that in favor or opposed or? Okay. One opposed. Let me just document this. And then one abstention. Motion still carries. All right. Thank you, everyone. That, I believe, is all the recommendations. Okay, we will now move on to the next item on the agenda, old business, going once, going twice. There's usually never any old business. We covered it all already. New business, going once, going twice, same thing. Announcements, 1 minute, 1 minute, please. Wait, we had one new business? Wait, you need the mic. Yeah, you can come up to the standing mic right there. Yeah.
Joanna Bennett, CB4. We all read Desmond Monroe's heartfelt letter of resignation from the board, and I would like to recommend that the board acknowledge his recommendation and thank him for his service. He has brought a tremendous amount of knowledge and service to Community Board 4, and I'd like to recommend that the board write him a letter thanking him for his service and wishing him well in his endeavor. He said he wants to continue his education. This man we know came back and brought his knowledge to Bushwick, and I think it would be nice to write a letter thanking him for his service.
I responded already to his email, like directly thanking him for his service. I was pretty explicit, but if you want me to put together, Mr. Camacho also asked me to put together some words, so you want to work together and then I can put together some more words. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we were
just so
gonna-
you know, there was a response. It
There was a
wasn't just that
response
he
and I
emailed.
spoke in
Yeah,
regards to him, myself here, so we're gonna, do something together and send something.
okay. we can do that. Short and sweet. All right. Anything else? Announcements, folks that are here in person, 1 minute. Folks on Zoom, 1 minute. Encouraged, 1 minute encouraged.
I got time.
Go for it.
Hey, this is Joe from Friends of Irving Square Park. We have a cleanup this Saturday from 12 to 2. If anybody wants to do a little fall gardening, little weeding, picking up leaf litter, we'll be out there for the afternoon. We have lots of bulbs to go in the ground as well. And then last, on December 7th, which is a Saturday after Thanksgiving, or 2 Saturdays, I guess, that is going to be the tree lighting ceremony that Sandy Nurse talked about, right? So that'll be tree lighting, and all that day there's a holiday market, people selling holiday gifts, right? If you need, or if you know people who want to vend there, I can also put you in contact with Virginia from Riseboro, and we will be out there doing ornaments and other, maybe giving out soup or something. So December 7th, you should come to Irving Square. It's going to be a lot of fun. And also Saturday. The tree lighting ceremony is from 6 to 8. And the holiday market will be all day Saturday, probably from like 11 to 4 or 5. So pretty much all day at the park on Saturday, December 7th, we'll have different activities, but the tree lighting will be from 6 to 8. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Zachary Hendrickson, CB4 member. Just quickly want to plug, last time we had a meeting, I spoke about an election watch party. Obviously, some crazy things have happened in this country. And if you're like me, you're still trying to make sense of it and what it means. And so I just wanted to invite folks, if you're interested in a space to kind of talk through some of these things with other folks. New York City DSA, the North Brooklyn branch, is hosting a meeting November 24th at Pageant. I'm sorry, it's slightly outside of Bushwick. We were going to be in Bushwick actually, but there were too many people RSVP'd, so we had to find a bigger space. Pageant is on Avenue of Puerto Rico between Verrett Street and Moore Street. It's going to be at 2 p.m. And basically, we're just going to be talking about debriefing what happened with the election. So if folks are looking for a space to kind of engage with other folks around that, a different perspective maybe, just want to extend that invitation to everyone.
Hey, everybody, Lacey from Borough President Reynoso's office. Tomorrow, we are hosting an open house at Borough Hall with the MTA about their 2025 to 2029 capital plan from 4 to 7. So if you want to hear more from MTA leadership about how the plan will impact Brooklyn specifically, ask them questions about the plan, about fare discount programs, career and business opportunities, come out to Borough Hall tomorrow afternoon, evening. We're also planning an event with DOB in December, Wednesday the 4th in Cypress Hills, right across the border, for property owners to identify and correct summonses. I don't have a flyer about that, but check out our website. And then finally, a little fun, we're doing a tree lighting on November 26th with the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership at Albee Square at 5, if you want to come to Downtown Brooklyn for that. And I just want to say congratulations, Celeste, so well deserved. I'm so proud to call you a colleague and a friend all these years.
All right, so for Councilmember Gutierrez, she's planning to introduce the Internet Master Plan, a blueprint to provide universal, affordable, and equitable broadband access to all New Yorkers. Communities Resist will be at our office on the 3rd Wednesday of every month to host housing clinics. That's at 244 Union Ave. You can call our office to schedule an appointment with the housing lawyer. The number is 718-963-3141. And we would also like to flag that the scams of food stamps have increased again. So if you or anyone that you know experience these kinds of scams, please contact our office so we can help you. That's it.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Collado. I'm with the Bushwick Housing Independence Project, BHIP for short. We're a tenants' rights organization building tenant power in Bushwick. I'm here to share news about our community meetings that happen every last Wednesday of the month. The next one that's going to happen is next week, Wednesday, the 27th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at El Puentes Bushwick Center, which is close by, 311 Central Avenue between Wilson and Menahan. Our meetings offer tenant right resources, tools to assert their rights, and a space to learn and participate in housing rights campaigns, and of course to organize with their neighbors. Last month, we looked back at the brief history of the New York City tenants movement, 100 years of tenants powers. It's probably one of my favorite presentations we've done yet. This month, we're looking forward at the existing campaigns that tenants might want to get involved in, like Fight for Right to Counsel. The meeting is free, is open to all tenants. It's going to be in English and Spanish. We have snacks. You grab a flyer. It has all our dates on there from now until June. And our contact information is 929-324-7358 or by email bhiporganize@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram. I'm trying to get better at that. bhipbk. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Julia Salazar. We have an upcoming event for the HEAP program. Anyone who needs assistance filling out the application, we will be having an event on December 4th, which will be a Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at 137 Jamaica Ave. The flyer is in the back. We will have HRA, National Grid, Connecticut, and we're in partnership with council member Sandiners, and congrats, Celeste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cecilia Fabian, business owner, Chila for Fun, sustainable brand. I want to invite everyone again. And this time, since we're on the holidays, I do have a gift for everyone that's a member for CB4. So you're welcome to come to my studio and pick it up. You can choose. If you've been in my studio, you know what I'm all about. If you have not been, then you will know. I am on 963 Bushwick Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, between Menahan and Bleecker. I'm usually there Tuesday to Sunday from 12 noon to 8 p.m. So just come by. You can also reach me out on Instagram or email chilaforfun@gmail or social media Chila for Fun, CHILAFORFUN. Thank you and come by.
Thank you. And on Zoom, I see Fran and then Julia.
Hi, everyone. This is Fran from Councilmember Nurse's office. I put a bunch of flyers in the chat, but yes, we have 3 tree lightings in the district. All of them start at 6. Knickerbocker will be December 2nd in with Councilmember Gutierrez's office in the parade. Irving Square Park will be on December 7th with Riseboro and the market. I shared some resources for folks that have questions about immigration. You can email me. I can send you those if you aren't able to see them on the Zoom. Participatory budget closed out. All ideas coming in through the map will be considered in our second round of review, but we have a lot of ideas, so thanks for everyone participating. And last but not least, our turkey giveaway is this Saturday. First come, first serve at 11 a.m. at our office. So be sure to swing by if you don't have a turkey. And we have 2 legal clinics, a domestic violence clinic on December 6th and a legal clinic for housing on December 5th. All flyers in the chat, and some of them are there in the room. Thanks to Christian. Shout out. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Fran. Julia?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just want to give a quick report. Haven't been with you guys in a while. Greetings from Adult Education at District 79. Just want to let you guys know we have over 300 adult learners on any given day in Bushwick, either obtaining their GED or learning English. And just want to thank you guys over the years for your support. We are growing. We have relocated our registration center to the Riseboro Community Center. It's going to be open Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1. So I'll send you guys at the community board the new flyer. And thanks again.
All right. And I just want to acknowledge, I believe we have some other elected official representatives that weren't able to say anything earlier. We have a rep for from the Congresswoman's office, Nadia Velasquez. I believe Evelyn is on. Just wanted to acknowledge. I don't know if you have anything, Evelyn.
Bear with the mic. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be brief because I'm representing Jonathan tonight. Just want to say congratulations. It is awesome to know that you received this great prestigious award. Your public service is undying.
Yeah, Evelyn, there's an echo for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we can barely hear what you're saying.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, you might be able to drop something in the chat because I have, yeah, or, yeah, if any, an email and then.
Congratulations, and then we'll communicate it in the week to come. No worries.
Thank you. All right, and the last announcement that I have, December 18th, everybody, is the next full board meeting and also our holiday potluck. So we will be sending out an email to everyone. All are welcome. If you want to be involved with the potluck, contribute to the potluck, please contact the board's office. Adelina in the office will be assisting with organizing this, keeping track of everything. I would just go ahead and say no sheet cakes. No store-bought desserts, because we tend to have an excess and everybody's like, not me. I can't take any more home. I ate too much. But we'll be sending out some guidance for folks just to ensure we have a well-balanced meal that evening and that nobody is leaving with their food untouched, because we don't want folks to feel bad about that. All right, that concludes our announcements. I'm pretty sure I don't see any more hands, so we can do our second roll call. Board members, please be ready. Starting with Luisa Jose. Linda Whitfield, Jerry Valentine.
President, good night.
Ben Tucker, Christian Celeste Tate, James Stewart, Annette Spellin, Barbara Smith, Bernadine Shell, Milagros Sandoval, Alicia Ruiz. Asked to be excused from the second roll call. Raul Rubio, Carlos Ortiz, Zuma Novoa.
President, good night. Happy Thanksgiving,
Ramika
everyone.
Nichols Barnes, Alex Moreno, Mary McClellan, Freddie Madison, Christine Malden, Tara Jones Thomas, Virgie Jones, Kaisha Johnson.
Good night, all. Happy
Gotcha, Virgie.
Thanksgiving.
Barbara Jackson, Tanisha Honeygan.
Present.
Gotcha,
night.
Tanisha. Deborah Hicks.
Good night. Congratulations.
Thank you. Zachary Hendrickson, Ann Guiney, Christopher Graham, Jason Gares, Joanna Fuentes Singh, Freddie Fowler, Cecilia Fabian, Karina Dodd, Andrew Choi, Felix Ceballos, Robert Camacho. Got you. Makiba Brown Elaine, Joanna Bennett, Jacqueline Becerra, Stephanie Anderson, Issa Abney. Motion to adjourn. Raul Rubio makes a motion. Is there a second? Second by Joanna Fuentes Singh. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. 9:25. Get home safely, everybody. Good night.